Good morning, good morning. What's going on? What's going on, film fam? Welcome to another episode of Chop Willie in the Morning, brought to you by Let the Film Speak. I am one of your hosts, Chop. Here with my main man, Willie Jack. Willie Jack, how you feeling today, my brother?
Feeling good, man. It's championship Sunday, man. Ready to see who finally gonna really punch them tickets to the big dance, man. So ready to get it going. And every game today, both these games today, bro, super competitive, super these are excellent matchups, man. So I can't wait.
Yeah, I agree with you, Willie Jack, and I'm ready for him as well, man. I'm ready for him as well. This is, like my dog Willie Jack said, conference championship showdown weekend, man. And honestly, I think they got it right this time, Willie Jack, man. I think these are the best four teams of the teams that were in the playoffs. I think these four teams are the best that was left, and I'm excited that we get a chance to watch them, go at it, and on paper. On paper, as of right now, before the games kick off, you can ask for better matchups, man. So I'm excited to see those games kick off today. And of course, we'll definitely get into that. But first and foremost, we got house rules, man. We got house rules, and they're the same as always, man. That's like, that's share, that's subscribe. Become the newest member of the Film Fam. We got plenty of room in the pad, as we tell y'all each and every week, man. Each and every show. We got plenty of room in the pad. We got plenty of food. We got plenty of drinks. We got whatever y'all need in the pad, man. So come on over, become a new member of the Film Fam, man. Be a part of it. You know what I'm saying? And also hit that notification bell. Hit that notification bell, because how else are you going to know when me and Willie Jack got something going on? You know what I'm saying? When we have events, and we guarantee you, you become a member of the Film Fam. We will not let you down. Will not let you down. Before we get into the show today, Willie Jack, man, we got an announcement, and I talked a little bit about it on our Wednesday show. But of course, I got to remind y'all again, man, for the very first time in Let the Film Speak history on Super Bowl Sunday this year, you will have Chop and Willie Jack in the same room, man. We're gonna be live in the same room. Let the Film Speak, another episode, man. But this is gonna be the special one, man. And it's been a long time coming. Willie Jack can attest to this, man. This started with phone calls. You know what I mean? This started with just me and Willie Jack on the phone. You know what I'm saying? Then we graduated. We went on to Facebook. You know what I'm saying? And we graduated from that. We went on and moved on to YouTube, man. We came on to the penthouse, as my dog Willie Jack likes to see it. You know what I'm saying? So now, at this moment, knowing that me and Willie Jack will get a chance to be in the same room and bring out the content that we bring to y'all each and every week, man, it's exciting, man. Willie Jack, how you feel about it, man? How you feel about it?
Man, I can't wait, man. For it, just like you said, we really have been looking forward to this, man. And so the perfect time to finally bring it together and on, you know what I'm saying, Super Bowl Sunday, man. So man, it's just the perfect timing all the way around, man. Yeah, it could have been a random week 13, you know what I mean? It could have been a random week 4 preseason. Nah, man. First time it's actually just gonna line up and just happen to fall on the Super Bowl, man. So that's perfect.
For sure, man. And we got people checking in already, man. And yeah, you're right, man. It was just like we was talking preseason just yesterday. Now we almost here for the Super Bowl, man. It just started. It just felt like it was yesterday. Now we moving on, and we're gonna be talking about the Super Bowl here pretty soon. But we're gonna be doing it from the same room, man. So I'm excited about that for sure. Excited.
Yeah. It's probably gonna be a good time. You know,
most likely.
Fool around, be a good time. You know, y'all know what's going on.
Fool around.
Yeah. I'm in the building early and real deal, man. Shout out to my dog Skinny, our dog Kevin Wilkinson, man. They in the building early this morning, man. We appreciate that, bro.
For sure. Appreciate y'all for checking in. Now, Willie Jack, let's jump into a little bit of news, man. We had a little bit going on since our last episode on Wednesday night at 7, man. We had a couple things going on. So first and foremost, let's talk about the Carolina Panthers, man. The Carolina Panthers, they hire former head coach Frank Reich as their new head coach going into the 2023 season. Willie Jack, how you feel about that one?
Man, it's well, of course, and we already know, man, or most everybody should know where we was at with Steve Wilkes, man. So we definitely was cheering him on to play and perform well. And honestly, even back when he took over as interim, I was thinking, man, it was the odds of him hold on to the job. It was just gonna be a tough task because, like I said, it's new ownership. You get in there, and then it's always cleaner to just start fresh, break fresh, and start new. And so it'd have been nice to see him get that job if he did, because he definitely did rally that team, and they made a real run. And we're up until the last week, man, or up until this last week, or maybe the game before the last game, had a shot at the playoffs. And so he definitely rallied that team around him and got some stuff done. But honestly, man, I can't be mad at the Frank Reich hire. I like Frank Reich, you know what I'm saying? Or I like him as a coach. And so and I don't even know if you remember this because I got to thinking about it. Remember we did a top 10 coaches ranking, and
Yeah.
and a couple of guys on my list. I had Doug Peterson on this list, and this is before he got the Jag. Or not, he had got the Jags job, but he was on my list. I can't remember the timing of when we did the thing, but I know he got the Jags coach around that same time. But he was
For
already on.
sure.
And I had Frank Reich on my list as well for the job he had did with the Colts up to that point. And so I'm a fan of Frank Reich, or at least what he's done, and I like his pedigree. You know, Andy Reid guy. I'm a big Andy Reid fan. This is dating back to the Eagles. You know what I'm saying? So, and he's off that tree as well. So I like the hire. And then when it came out, I didn't know about his history with the Panthers. He was their first ever, that franchise's first quarterback, or he's either their first franchise quarterback because they're an expansion team. And I think he like threw the first touchdown in Panthers history. So there's a lot of backstory there that I wasn't even aware of. And then, but like I said, so now that's not good enough to get him a job per se. But like I said, like things went bad, things went wrong. Like I said, with the Colts, especially this year. I mean, like I said, it's only so long you can stay afloat, I guess, without having a dependable or reliable guy, man, pulling the trigger. And so he did a lot of good things there, and they never really were able to kind of solidify that the most crucial part of the organization. You know what I'm saying? And then, like I said, things finally crumbled and fell apart around them. But I like the hire. I do. Like I said, I was a fan of Frank Reich and what he had done.
Yeah.
Not Wilkes, but yeah.
Understood. And I wasn't too much of a fan of this particular hire for a couple of reasons. First and foremost, yes, like you, Willie Jack, I felt like I wanted to see Steve Wilkes retain this job. You know, for the job that he's done. Yes, it was over a few games, not over an entire season. But what we've seen from him and how quick he turned that team around, and in terms of what that team looked like in comparison to what they looked like before. You know, Matt Rule, when Matt Rule was the head coach, it was a totally different thing. You know, he immediately came in and made his impact. And to me, I think that speaks loudly and speaks a lot to, you know, what he brought to that team and what he brought to the table. You know, so for me, I felt like I seen enough where we can say, hey, man, let's give him a shot. You know, let's give him a shot. But yes, like you said, Willie Jake, there is a long shot, because over the last 10 years, only 2 of the 17 total interim head coaches have retained their jobs. Only 2 of them. You know, so when you come in as an interim head coach, it's just for
that's just. And I'm sorry to cut you off. I want to make that's overall. That's not just black interim coaches. You're talking just overall.
No, I'm just saying overall, over interim head coaches in general. You know what I'm saying? Over the last 10 years.
Make sure.
Yeah, over the last 10 years, just interim head coaches in general. That's most of the time you come in, you take that job, you're gonna coach for the last few games or whatever. Because I mean, let's be honest and think about it this way too. Most head coaches, if they getting fired in the season, it's later in the season. It's not during the middle or early in the season. It's later in the season, unless there's some other specific type of thing going on. But it's later in the season. So if that's what happens, you know, you're just chalking it up as, hey, I'm the guy for right now. But then after that, you know, I'm pretty sure this team will be looking elsewhere. Maybe they'll interview me. You know, I might get an interview, but that's just about it. But so that was one reason I didn't necessarily like it, because yes, I wanted Steve Wilkes to take that, but then also I wanted this team just to go a different direction in general. You know, if you're not gonna go with if go and find somebody new, try something else out. You know what I mean? This team is in. First off, they need a lot. You know, in terms of to be competitive. You know what I mean? Yeah, they were competitive in a few games this year, but we're talking about a 5. What is it, 5 and whatever team, or 6 and 6? Yeah, maybe it was 6.
Oh, was it just 6? Okay, I was gonna say, I know they was in the mix to. Well, what the Bucks won that division at 8 and 9, and so they was right behind them. So were they 7 and 10 maybe? I think they lost to the Bucks late in the season in a key matchup, if I'm not mistaken. They had to be right there in the mix.
7 and 10.
I was about to say, yeah. And
yeah,
I think they lost to the Bucks late in the year, and I think that was they were right in the mix up to the end.
Yeah. But we're talking about a 7 and 10 team in which, I mean, honestly, that was kind of like overachieving. But the reason they got to 7 and 10, I think it was a lot to Steve Wilkes. I don't know if they get to 7 and 10 if Matt Rule stays. You know what I mean? Those wins and those competitive matchups came when Steve Wilkes was the guy. You know, right after they thought the ship was about to sail, when they got rid of Christian McCaffrey and they fired the head coach, it was like, oh, this is over. But they came out and won the very next game. You know, so those are the type of things I saw. And to go get a guy like Frank Reich, who, I mean, in my eyes, yeah, I thought he was a solid coach too, but in my eyes, really hasn't done much, for this coach organization, which was supposed to be. People looked at them as a playoff team going into this season, and to have that big of a disappointment.
Wait, are you saying in totality, or are you just talking this year? I wouldn't go as far as say he hadn't accomplished anything for the Colts overall.
I mean, what? I don't. What has he? I don't because yeah. I mean, they made a couple playoffs, but I mean, we
just brushing off playoff appearances.
No, that's not what we're doing. But what I'm saying is there are teams that can get into the. Okay, all right. Prime example. We just talked about the Giants, right? Okay. Well, this playoff appearance that they had. Okay, yeah, we can chalk that up. It's good job. You know what I mean? Y'all made it to the playoffs. But come next year, then the year after that, what's that playoff appearance going to matter? When you depending on what the product that y'all put out on the field. You know what I mean? What's that playoff appearance going to mean is what I'm saying. It's like you got certain teams that go into the playoffs and you know that they legit contenders, like you tell me. Like certain teams are legit contenders. Right. But if you're not a legit contender when you get into the playoffs, teams you get overlooked.
We got to slow down, man. We got to slow down. Because that almost sounds more that we going too far. Because when Wilkes took over, I think one of the things I said was, short of a playoff berth, I don't think he keeps it. I don't think he keeps that job because as good as he was, as much credit as we want to give him when he was in the head seat, he was also a part of the 10 losses as well. So if they were 1-9 when Matt Rule was the guy, well, he's a part of the 1-9 as well. Like he doesn't have no part of the 1-9. He was a key figure in the 1-9 as well. Now he's not sitting in the head seat, so everything does start at the top, but. He didn't just show up here clean and then rally the team to 3-4 is what or 4-3, I think is what they finished at, or was it, or 4-2? I'm not. Was it 6 or 7 games he took over for? I don't know. And we talking on the spot, but so I don't want to make it seem like he just came in clean. But to say we're not giving enough credit for making the playoffs isn't easy. Just period. So we can't just shake that off because getting there. Now, what you do when you get there, that's a separate conversation. You know what I'm saying? Because then once you get there and we evaluate, okay, well, who's good and who's bad? Your Giants, for example. You know what I'm saying? So there's a different conversation. But getting there is an accomplishment. Getting there is a big deal, and especially if you're a team that doesn't have, a fella that should be there. So when the Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes make it, we shrug that off because it's the Chiefs and it's Patrick Mahomes. When Joe Burrow and the Bengals make, when Josh Allen and because that's what they do. But for other teams that are still trying to find footing, and also you got to remember when he took over that organization, Andrew Luck quit the day of the last preseason game. You know what I'm saying? The day of. Literally, they had a preseason game.
But we're talking 4 or 5 years ago.
No, and that's what I'm saying. That's what he came into. That's what I'm saying. Like that's what he came in there, and then so he's rebuilding. He had a franchise quarterback.
He's regressed. He's regressed ever since.
Hold on. Here's the thing, though. I don't want to necessarily say he's regressed, or I didn't see it as his coaching regress, but they floundered after losing. They floundered after losing a verifiable franchise quarterback. They went to the season a day before the season starts. Now you're going to that season with Jacoby Brissett. And that team was competitive, but Jacoby Brissett he wasn't a guy, and this isn't a knock to Jacoby Brissett because he is what he is. He's viable in situations. He's viable as a spot starter. He's viable as his ways. But there's games that were lost that were there to be won if maybe there's a better quality guy pulling the trigger. So like I said, I'm going a little more than just the blanket wins and losses, but I can't knock what Frank Reich did there as far as salvaging or keeping that organization competitive, especially like I said, those first 4 years, keeping them in the mix. They didn't fall away to the wayside and become the Browns of, just 5 years ago before the Browns had his Baker Mayfield run started. They didn't fall into that, which they really could have. You know what I mean? So that's a credit to Reich. And then even and also Chris Ballard, because they built a very competitive roster everywhere except the quarterback. And so you go through Jacoby, then you go get an over the hill Phillip Rivers. You know what I mean? And you stay right there in the mix and on the bubble. You know what I'm saying? Then you go get a Matt Ryan guy. You know what I'm saying? Who it happens steep or that team. I mean, so there were a lot of things and factors in play. But the key thing for that to me was he didn't have a guy to pull the trigger. And then, like I said, there's only so long you can stay afloat. You know what I'm saying? When you've got that anchor still weighing you down, and then it all fell apart this year. The old line regressed. Jonathan Taylor, they couldn't block for Jonathan Taylor. Then he also gets banged up. You couldn't keep Matt Ryan standing upright. You know what I'm saying? And then so a lot of things went wrong in it, and they had to make a move. But I'm not charging all of that to Frank Reich, not in context of what happened to him. Like, he didn't trick off of Justin Herbert. You know what I'm saying? He ain't trick off of.
No, he didn't. No, he didn't do that. And I'm with you. I'm with you there. But at the same time, you look at the last 2 years, right? They were clear and ready to be in. They were clear and ready to be in the playoffs and compete last year. You know what I mean? And they pissed down their leg. You know what I'm saying? They were right there until they lost against a bad Jaguars team at the end of the season that they couldn't absolutely lose. You know what I mean? That, like, you can't do that. And then you go into this year. I get it. You know, you had a lot of different issues and things like that go on this year. What?
Now, it's got to be agreed that Jaguars loss, Carson Wentz completely shit the bed.
But what I'm saying, Willie Jack, their season should have never came down to that a game anyway. You know what I mean? With the way that season went. Like, there was a lot of other things that happened throughout the season. It wasn't their season. You can't count that one specific game towards their entire season. They had an entire season of football where, yes, they had some good games, and then they started to just blow it all away. And then you come into this year. What the point I was getting to? You come into this year. Every team goes through things. Every single team, but how you handle it, this is where you prove your worth as a head coach. If you're a head coach, this is where you prove your worth. Everybody has it. There's a lot of teams out there with bad quarterbacks that's put together better showings than what the Indianapolis Colts did. At one point in the season, we looked at them as the absolute worst team in the NFL. You know what I mean? No good coach. And I'm just gonna put this out there. No good coach.
That might be too strong, but go ahead.
No.
The absolute worst team in the league.
Absolute worst. What they put out there on the field, they look like the absolute worst team in the NFL at a stretch during this season. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying throughout the entire season, because you know they also beat the Chiefs at one time this year. You know what I'm saying? So every team has their ups and downs, but at a stretch during this season, they look like the absolute worst team in the NFL. You know what I mean? So what I'm going to say is I'm going to go out and and I'm just going to say it. There's no good coach that will put out a substance or put out a product to where it absolutely looks like the worst team in the NFL. Look at
I'll say, go ahead. Here's the thing about that as well. Let's also keep in mind, your statement you just made is very subjective to yourself, because I don't feel that way. I never saw them and thought they were worse than the tanking Texans, you know what I'm saying, who show up 2 or 3 times a year and decide to play ball. So it got ugly. It got bad. My Steelers were a top 5 draft team. If we're just going to look the first 8 weeks of the season, we were slated to pick in the top 5. So was Mike Tomlin now a terrible coach? Because, like I said, I never saw the Colts issues as being an issue with Frank Reich. You know what I'm saying? I saw a team that just didn't have the roster to compete. Like, I feel that's different than what I see with me and you both see from Brandon Staley, where we look at a team and the issues with the team, a lot of them have to do with bad coaching. Like, I don't feel like I saw bad coaching or like coaching taking them out of winning situations, or coaching being a coaching mistake or errors in I don't feel like I saw that. I saw a roster that wasn't good enough to compete. And I want to pull up my dog Skinny, man, Real Deal Steel Sports, man. They ain't the building stone. He said the Colts never perennial title contenders. Well, we got to slow down on that, because how many teams are perennial title contenders? Because there's 3. You know what I'm saying? There's only 2 or 3 of those. So there's still a different level. That's a different level. But I'm saying, it's still an accomplishment to be a team that stays in the playoff mix, it stays in playoff contention. Now, there's a different level. Like, you know what I'm saying? That gets you in the club, but that don't get you the VIP. You know what I'm saying? They ain't sitting at the table with what we see now for Cincinnati 2 years in a row, or what we see from the Chiefs for these last 5 years. So that's a different room. And so, but not to say you're not a title contender, well, then there's only 2 or 3 teams we would talk about. If we talked about just perennial title contenders, then that could only be, if we go with 10-year stretches, there's 3 teams in the AFC. the
Yeah,
Patriots,
yeah. And,
the
and, and,
Steelers,
and, and to that, and
and
to
then
your point
Peyton's
too, Willie
Colts.
Jack. And to your point, yes, they I don't think they were perennial title contenders, but they were a team before the season started. On paper, they were looked at as a team that could potentially be. You know what I'm saying?
Now,
It was like
a title.
yeah,
Nobody had the Colts coming out of the AFC, cuz nobody
you ain't
had the Colts coming out of the AFC.
no,
They weren't in that
you ain't heard me.
conversation.
You
That's what I'm
ain't
saying.
heard
If
me.
you're talking a title contender, who can come out the AFC?
You
That's
ain't
been
heard
three
me.
teams.
You ain't heard me.
Because we know that's been three teams.
You didn't hear me though. You didn't hear me. Yes, the first thing I said was I agree with you, but I said going into the season before they ever played a game, they weren't looked at as a title contender, but they were looked at as a team that could potentially be. Think about this, Willie Jack. It's a difference. I'm explaining to you the difference. The difference they coming into a season after Jonathan Taylor's one of his best seasons. A great run game, a great offensive line. They had a top 10 defense. This was a team that's what the team they were, and they didn't quite make the playoffs. So then in the offseason, they go and get Matt Ryan, and we didn't nobody knew what Matt Ryan was going to look like except for me. But when they brought Matt Ryan over there, it was like, okay, we brought Matt Ryan, we put him in this position. Now we are a team that's looking. Well, first and foremost, we're looking at the playoffs for sure. You know what I'm saying? So if that's what that team's expectations were. And if you're a team like that, then yes, people were looking at them as like, okay, we don't know how good this team is going to be, but we know that this team has a legit chance to go straight to the playoffs. Okay, now what
playoffs good. Nobody said Matt Ryan. They were not.
No,
they were not
nobody.
considered a title contender, bro.
Because we didn't see it, Willie Jack. That's what I'm trying to tell you. No. What I'm saying is we knew they were going to the playoffs, but they had the potential. Like people was like, we don't know how good they're going to be. They could be good enough. They could be good enough.
Okay, stop. Nobody. Matt Ryan was going to help. Nobody saw that team coming out of the AFC, bro. And I'm talking because we just said day one before a snap was taken. Nobody at any point in this year, pre or after Matt Ryan signed, and I was a Matt Ryan, and I was on the bandwagon as Matt Ryan that he had good ball in him. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, things crumble. You know what I'm saying? Like when it goes, it goes. And a lot of things went wrong on that team outside of even Matt Ryan himself. But at no point, and with me being a supporter of Matt Ryan in that move, you know where I was. Me and you, we had it out about Matt Ryan and how much ball he had left. So you know, I'm one of the guys you're talking about who was as high as you could be on Matt Ryan signing with the Colts. I was in the front of that class. And they had no shot at winning the title. Like there was no, they weren't in consideration or anybody's thoughts of coming out the AFC. Nobody was taking Matt Ryan's Colts over any of the guys at any of the big three, or even in any of the big four coming into this year. Because most folks would have still had Baltimore sitting in that fourth spot behind Buffalo. Buffalo came in with all the smoke and all the gas for sure. Kansas City still right there because they're the big guy in the box. They big brother in the AFC. You know what I'm saying? So they're still there. Then you had Cincy, who had just went to the Super Bowl and were 2 plays away from winning it. You know what I'm saying? Well, 1 play and 1 bad call away from winning it. You know what I'm saying? So those is already the 3. That 4th team on most everybody's list, if we're going to name them, that 4th team is easily Baltimore as a true-to-life AFC Super Bowl participant. That was it. Nobody at all, because even before the Colts, even before you get to the Colts, you still got to get past. You would have still went to, well, most people. Now I was low on the Titans this year, but most people still. Some people, there starts conversation. It was those 4 as a clear. These people have real title aspirations, and then everybody came below them. And then once you get below them, then yeah, they get in the mix with the Titans in their own division. Them. And I feel like I'm missing one more. And then if people were going to take a wild card on, like yourself with the Broncos, man, the Broncos can make a late push and rally. It got to conversation. But as far as title contenders coming in, like you said, before any snaps are played, those are the 4 teams. The Colts were never in that conversation, bro. Never, ever. And then, hold on. And then one thing, man, Real Deal's in the building real heavy, man. I appreciate you, dog. He said, how don't you see this? I think y'all missing what I'm saying. I'm not saying that Frank Reich had that team teed up for a championship. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that they weren't in the conversation with he didn't lead the Detroit Lions for 5 years. He didn't lead the Cleveland Browns before Baker Mayfield for 5 years. You know what I'm saying? Like it's still an accomplishment to be in playoff contention. Now, how legit your chances are once you get there, like I said, that's a different conversation, but there's still a quality level of coaches that can even get teams, and especially teams without a name brand superstar quarterback, to not have a name brand superstar quarterback and still stay in the mix in playoff contention, that is a credit to his coaching ability. You know what I'm saying? And that's how I look at it. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that the coach was teed up for Super Bowls. Hell no. Never. If Matt Ryan had a career year, I'm not taking him above any of those 4 teams that I just said still, with him having a career year. And mind you, Matt Ryan's had an MVP and went to a Super Bowl. So nobody ever had the Colts in that type of esteem. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying it's like if I think my dog Skinny, man, y'all going too hard. He says a horrible hire. Well, how? Because, and then here's the thing as well, everything y'all want to knock about Frank Reich, well, what's Wilkes did on the other side of that? Now, I'm not saying he hadn't had a raw deal, you know what I'm saying? Because I don't appreciate, man, y'all know where I'm at with Steve Wilkes, man. I pumped him, I pressed his name, I made sure we shot him on the show. But if we're going to start, hold on, let me finish. Because if we're going to poke holes at Frank Reich's resume, then you ain't going to tell me that 6 games of Wilkes, you know what I'm saying, getting a team salvageable. And then here's the thing about that as well. They won. It reminds me of how I felt a little bit about your Giants, but not even to that level because they didn't look as good as your Giants. But they found a way to win games. But I didn't see any style of competitive edge from Wilkes taking over that team. And then also keep in mind, this is why I also like to hire and why I like it to be Wilkes and not just like a new face, new blood, like you said, because if it's just new face, new blood, well, then I feel that's disrespectful to Wilkes. You know what I'm saying? If we just go get a no-name quarterback coach off the bottom of somebody else's coaching staff and bring them in, well, now y'all disrespecting Wilkes. But I don't think this was it, because this is also a team that, much like the Colts, they've been struggling to find their own quarterback. We've seen them take a flyer on Sam Darnold, take a flyer on Baker Mayfield, your dog P.J. Walker. You know what I'm saying? So this team is rebuilding from the quarterback position. And you bring in an offensive quarterback. Frank Reich came up as, well, under that Andy Reid and Doug Peterson tree, quarterback coach, OC, etc. And so now you bring him in to pair with the next new quarterback you're going to have to build with. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that stuff lines up. And then his history with the organization, which I just found out about, it even makes it line up more so. But
the history makes it make sense. But other than that, man, it's a lot of coaching candidates out here, man. To where we don't need to be necessarily recycling these coaches who ain't did nothing. That's just my opinion on it, man.
Well, if Frank Reich if Stephen Wilkes as a former head coach and a guy who didn't do nothing, he's in that same conversation, bro. This wouldn't be his first coaching opportunity. It don't have to be Wilkes. It don't have to be Wilkes. But that's the conversation we having, though, bro. Like, we having a conversation, Wilkes versus Reich.
But that Wilkes wasn't Wilkes. This conversation is not Wilkes versus Reich. I would prefer Wilkes, but
this is the conversation. The better hire for this job, right? So that's the conversation.
It is who should they have hired, but should they have hired Frank Reich? And no, I don't think they should have hired Frank Reich. That's just what it is to me. It's a lot of coaching candidates out here, bro. A lot of them.
Man, come on, man. Now you get away from the target, man. I can't believe you just did that, man. Now you get
did what?
And now the conversation changed from
no. It never changed.
To, well, it didn't have to be Wilson. It just should have been Frank Reich. That's a different conversation.
That was what I said. I said that in the beginning.
Man, hell no, man. We was talking about
You didn't hear what I said, because that's what I'm saying. You ain't listening. The first thing I said was, yes, I would have preferred it to be Wilkes, but it wasn't just a Wilkes versus Reich conversation. This wasn't just him versus it. It was, no, I don't like him for the job, and I said for 2 reasons. One, I said because of Reich. The other was because of I didn't like what Reich put together, but also it's a lot of other coaching candidates, bro. Like we continue to go down the same thing, and I said that. That's the first thing I said. I gave you 2 reasons,
man. All right,
okay.
This whole, like I said, man. All right, man. I let y'all breathe, man. I let y'all.
Nah, you ain't gotta let me breathe, bro. I'm just saying, man.
Them same hoes, you can't poke them hoes in Reich and not poke them in Wilkes. Is the only thing I'm saying.
See, but that's what I'm saying. You making this about just Wilkes, though. You only making this about Wilkes.
Because that was the conversation, bro. We wasn't talking about, man, that's just a bad hire. They could have went and got any other kid. Like, bro, the conversation was Wilkes, you, Skinny, and I'm not saying that I would have liked to see Wilkes in that job. You know what I'm saying? Of course. You know
we both agreed to that. We both agreed.
No, for sure. But my point was when it was announced as Reich, like I said, I've already been on record. I got film. I'm a fan of Reich and what he's done. And then, you know what I'm saying? Then I made some points otherwise. And so the conversation was the merit of Wilson and the merit of Reich, dog, and that's what it was. And then now later on in this thing where you start talking about new blood and it could have been somebody else, we're like, well, now we getting off base. We getting into a different ring. That's a different ring, man. We was discussing the merits of Wilson Reich, man. That's where it was at.
All right, man. Let's keep on moving, man. Let's talk about some other bad coaches, man. The Jets hire the Jets hire recently fired head coach of the Broncos, Nathaniel Hackett, as their OC moving forward into the 23 season. What's your thoughts on this one, Willie Jack? Talk to me. Talk to me about what he did and how good he is, man.
No, I ain't gonna talk to you about Nathaniel. Ain't no record of me going to bat for Nathaniel Hackett. He was a guy. He was in the same room with Aaron Rodgers, and it got him a head coach job with the Broncos. You know what I'm saying? And then for a lot of reasons, maybe the player Russell Wilson being one of them, but he just didn't appear to have the chops. You know what I'm saying? Like when I saw the Broncos product on the field, I saw bad coaching. You know what I'm saying? And that was week 1. You know what I'm saying? That's why that conversation is different. And then from what people are saying, though, I mean, I think maybe Colin Cowherd say this, is that the Jets are – there's real talk or chatter about maybe the Jets being able to make some type of move or make some type of deal to acquire Aaron Rodgers from the Packers. And so that's kind of word around the campfire if you listen to Colin Cowherd. You know what I'm saying? And so and with Nathaniel Hackett being an A-Rod guy, you know what I mean? So he sat in that room. He was A-Rod's quarterback coach, I think, for maybe the last 3 years or so, the last 2 or 3 years before he got this Broncos coaching job. And so it makes an appealing landing spot for you know what I'm saying, for A-Rod, if that's going to be something real that they can bring to that table. Now, head coaching chops, man, we seen what that was. I think, man, we might have called for his job before they got the week 6. You know what I'm saying? So we know what it is there. But now going back into the offensive coordinator role, now he could be more valuable as an OC than as the head man. And then, like I said, now how much credit, the only thing about that is, well, how much credit are we giving to him and his prowess offensively and et cetera? And how much of that is just, well, you was coaching A-Rod. You know what I'm saying? And so that'll be the determining factor there. But if it gets them A-Rod, then it's a good move by the Jets. I tell you, you know what I'm saying? That's that. If it gets them A-Rod, then it's a good hire. If it don't, then okay, you know, you wasted another year for Mike White and whoever else is still in that locker room when it's all said and done.
Yeah, well, this team is for sure going for a quarterback. You know what I'm saying? I don't expect this team to go into the season with Mike White or Zach Wilson as their quarterback, you know, as the season starts. I don't expect them to do that.
No, Wilson time got to be over, man. Yeah, they got it.
Yeah. I don't expect it. And honestly, I'm still not 100% done on Zach Wilson. I just think that he's just not ready just yet. I still think he could grow. I still think he can become a starter in this league at some point. It's just not right now. You know what I'm saying? So right now, I don't think he's ready. He needs some time to mature. You know, in terms as a quarterback and just as a person in general. And as he continues to grow, he's going to start to learn more. And he could be, like I said, a viable starter in this league at some point. It's just not right now. So I do expect the Jets to go in and try to, you know, figure out a quarterback situation. As you said, and that's the part I want to focus on too. If they end up bringing Aaron Rodgers over here, this could be good, you know. And I don't want everybody to forget. I know we just started talking about it. I want to make sure everybody understands, like, Nathaniel Hackett was the OC of the Green Bay Packers from 2019 to 2021, you know, so before he became the head coach of the Broncos. So those 2 MVP seasons that you've seen from Aaron Rodgers, the OC was Nathaniel Hackett. You know what I'm saying? He was a guy over there, you know what I'm saying, working with Aaron Rodgers and working with that team and, you know, and helping out with what we saw from Aaron Rodgers, those MVP seasons. So, and it works out that way. Like some guys just aren't meant to be head coaches. You know, that's just what it is. Everybody wants to move up to the top. That's everybody's goal. They want to continue to move up to the top. But everybody's not built to be managers. Everybody's not built to be owners and CEOs. You know what I'm saying? Somebody got to be the janitor. You know what I'm saying?
Some people got to be working B, man.
Somebody got to be an assistant. You know what I'm saying? Like some people are better at that role. You know what I'm saying? And some people and you have to come to the realization, you know what I'm saying, yourself. Now, I don't want to just flat out say Nathaniel Hackett is that specifically, because I don't ever want to ruin anybody's dreams or anybody's chances of whatever they can be or become. Just because he failed this one time doesn't mean, you know, that 10 years from now he doesn't get a second chance, you know, at an opportunity. Let me look at Bill Belichick. Bill Belichick had an opportunity before he got this one with the Patriots. You know what I mean? And now look at Bill Belichick. Look at his reputation now. You know what I'm saying? So
Pete Carroll as well. Pete Carroll was a failed. It could be argued, or it had been said, that he kind of failed out of the NFL. Sure. He went to USC, he started a dynasty, and then came back with the Seahawks, and then he became who he became. He was on the verge of having a second dynasty, short of one first and goal call from the damn 1 yard line. You know what I'm saying? They were on the verge of maybe having a dynasty there. But yeah,
sure.
so it's happened before, man. Yeah, so like I said, it's not necessarily one and done. And
Yeah,
I agree with you. Like I said, like,
and that's the reason I don't want to kill. I don't want to kill any. I don't want to kill any head coaches, dreams or chances or whatever the case may be because they had one bad outing. Yes, we went on them. We went hard on them, but that's what we do though. That's what we supposed to do.
Oh, he earned it.
We're gonna hold you accountable for sure. You're gonna get held accountable. But you know what I'm saying, that doesn't mean it's the end of the world for you either, my brother. So
sure.
Cool. He got another job. Maybe he gets back into his bag and starts doing what he set out to do. You know what I mean, and what he can do, what we've seen that he's capable of over with the Jets. So I'm curious to see how they move forward with their quarterback situation. Maybe they do bring over Aaron Rodgers, but if they do, I would love to see Aaron Rodgers and a young Garrett Wilson connection start to build up. So I would love to see that.
Yeah. I ain't gonna lie, man. Garrett Wilson for sure. Like he came in and showed he's got the goods, man. If somebody can get him the ball for sure. You still got Corey Davis over there. But man, I don't know if I want to step into that division, man, and try to chase Big Josh, man. I mean, for everything that went right and everything that went wrong this season, that is what it is. But I don't know, man, to go over and chase Big Josh, still deal with Big Bad Bill. You know what I'm saying? Like, man, that's a rough division. It is a rough division all the way around.
Yeah, it's a rough division, but no matter
what. Oh, and the Dolphins, I was about to say whoever we get in the Dolphins, you know what I'm saying, who look to be on the upswing as well. You know what I'm saying? And so that's a rough division to jump into, but. Man, sure. We know money gonna talk with A-Rod. So yeah, they trade him a little, keep them 50 million reasons, man. He'll work it out.
I got you, man. So since we talking about OCs, let's keep talking to OC talk, Willie Jack. Let's talk about your boy over in Kansas City, man, Eric Bieniemy. Reports come out, man, that multiple teams have requested to interview Eric Bieniemy, not for head coaching positions, but for OC positions for their team. Baltimore Ravens being one of those teams, and I believe you said the Washington Commanders. Am I correct?
Yeah, Washington, Baltimore, Tennessee, and it was one more, but several teams.
Yeah, so several teams have requested to interview Eric Bieniemy for their OC position. Willie Jack, give me your take on this one, man. This was very interesting. That it come out to be OC positions and not head coaching positions, which is what everybody kind of wanted or was expecting to see.
Yeah, and also we should mention he did interview for the coach head coach job as well. So he did have an interview there for a head spot. But yeah, man. So a lateral move, I guess, as far as title goes. But I think in the right situation, it's for for kind of like what we said about Zach White. Well, in a different circumstance. I'm not saying he failed or bombed in the role that he was doing, but I think it could be of benefit to him, and it would be a benefit to him to break away and kind of go out on his own and really kind of build his own name, because it just hasn't worked out that way for him there, I guess, in Kansas City. And this is the thing about it. This time last year, when that USC job was open before Lincoln Riley went to Oklahoma. So last year there was talks that USC was interested in maybe him coming to being their coach. And I pushed for that last year. Like, okay, man, you're not getting a shake. People felt like it was like those prior 2 years he hadn't been given a fair chance, or people were bringing things from his past that aren't brought out from other folks, from other candidates' past, etc. And he was being torn down. And so I suggested at that time that Pete Carroll model. It was exactly that Pete Carroll model. Well, go ahead and go to college, make your own name. You know what I'm saying? And get build your own name, and then come back and now maybe make yourself a hotter commodity, or prove, or whatever it is that people were holding against you or using against you in these conversations, in these arguments. Well, okay, we'll go out there, make it happen. You know what I'm saying? Boom, 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 and now you come back, with a little more leverage, because now, like I said, the conversation has changed. Okay, well, is he the guy? Is he really the guy? Okay, well, now we can dead all that right now. You know what I'm saying? I went and did this, and I went and did it in college. But like I said, we've seen it happen. Nick Saban went and did it in college before he got the Miami Dolphins job. Now the Dolphins job, he couldn't necessarily float in the NFL, so he went back to college. That's before Alabama. That was LSU. But we've seen that model where guys go to college, get your name up, and you come back to the big league. You know what I'm saying? We've seen it with Jim Harbaugh, who's a guy who's still in these types of considerations. You know what I'm saying? And so we've seen that model before. We've seen it work, and so I was a fan of that. Now, as far as this goes, yeah, man, I would say, especially, he's in a position where he's busting ass. he's working his ass off and he's not getting any credit. You know what I'm saying? Now, how much credit he deserves and etc. Well, that could be deciphered or determined by whoever wants to do it. You know, so that could be subjective. But he's doing the work of an OC. He's not working any less harder than any other OCs. You know what I'm saying? And so he's still doing that work. But if you're not getting credit for your work, then yeah, it's time to make a move. And so I don't mind it at all. But I don't mind it at all. And the one I thought was most interesting, honestly, was Baltimore. And so going over to Baltimore, and let's say assuming they're going to keep Lamar for at least, Lamar's going to be there for at least this season. He's going to get franchised if they don't get a deal. So he's there at least this season. And then, but I would like to see that, just to see the changes, because the things that we've been wanting to see the team do for Lamar, put the offense around him. And so it's going to come with those Andy Reid principles and the principles of that style of scheme, to see how he implements it. And then if he does get it implemented, let's say if he does implement it more so successfully, to see how Lamar will operate in that. So that one, just to see how that could possibly play out, I'd like to see. You know what I'm saying? But you know, I think it would make sense. I think, like I said, it's just time for a new place. You know what I'm saying? It's just time for a new setup. Like Shaq had to leave LA. You know what I'm saying? Like, it happens. Sometimes things go wrong, man. It's time to move around.
Yeah, and I agree with you 100%, Willie Jack. I do think it's good for him to get out of the shadows. You know what I'm saying? Make your own way, make your own lane, create that, and you know, show that you really can be the guy solely. You know what I'm saying? Because when we talk about the Chiefs offense and we talk about what they cooking up and the play designs and stuff like that, the first thing people talk about is Andy Reid. It's always Andy Reid. Andy Reid's in it, and they're cooking. Andy Reid, even us, you know, we talk about Andy Reid. You know what I'm saying? Eric Bieniemy doesn't get a lot of that credit, you know, for a lot of what he's doing. You know what I'm saying? And then also, like, that can help him prove himself, because it's a difference when, yeah, he's doing a lot of the OC work, but it's a difference when, all right, you're not sitting in a room with an Andy Reid as you're coming up with these different things, coming up with these different schemes, and coming up with these different game plans. Yes, you're learning a lot from an Andy Reid, but now when you go into another room and it's just you, you know what I mean? It's you doing this, and then when you get out there on the field, you calling the plays. You know what I'm saying? It's a difference, and you have to use the way that you're seeing the game from out of your eyes and your eyes only, and not, you know, being able to chop it up with a guy like Andy Reid who's been doing this for a long time. You know what I'm saying? I think that makes a difference. And then I think that opportunities to really start rolling in after he if he decides to take one of these OC roles and they continue to be successful, and then he comes out and says, okay, yeah, Eric Bieniemy is the real deal.
Yeah, well, the only two things I would say about that is guys like Andy Reid, they're not the norm. And so if he's being hired, because how many head coaches actually run their offense or run their defense? You know what I'm saying? Right. So Andy Reid, Andy Reid, Sean Payton, Sean McVay, like those Kyle Shanahan, those guys are in the minority. You know what I mean? As far as,
for sure.
You know what I'm saying? So like being the head coach, because the way he's being evaluated, because that is the knock against him, is that, well, he's not even calling the play. Well, 80% of the coaches don't call their plays. They don't run their own offense. I mean, they oversee. It's managerial. You know what I'm saying? Coaches coach coaches. Head coach coaches coaches. You know what I'm saying? He's not. You step away from players as the head coach, realistically. So you're the guy coaching. You're coaching the coaches. You're overseer. You know what I'm saying? Like the site manager ain't nailing in no boards. You know what I'm saying? And so that's the bulk of head coaches. And so I don't think he necessarily has to have play calling chops to be a head coach. And a perfect example of that is John Harbaugh. John Harbaugh, who was a special teams coordinator, also under Andy Reid, a special teams coordinator who left and got a head coach job in Baltimore without having ever called a play on offense or defense. So I don't need to hear that EB can't be a coach because he ain't calling no plays. I've seen it done. And then that's
not what I was saying. That's not what I was saying.
No, but not specifically just you, but just to the arguments against EB. You know what I'm saying? And then man, somebody pissed in Skinny Cereal this morning. He coming in strong. He said EB will never be a head coach of the league. I'm like, golly, man, that's a little strong. Now, not to say it will or it won't, but that's pretty strong. But the reason I don't like the arguments that people make against him with that Andy Reid stuff is because we've seen that formula where Andy Reid's always called his own plays. and he's put 6 head coaches in this league calling the plays. Eric Bieniemy was the 3rd guy in that process, and he's the guy that process stopped on. Doug Peterson was under Andy Reid. Doug Peterson didn't call them plays with the Eagles, and then when he came over with the Chiefs, Andy still called Doug Peterson's plays. Didn't stop the Eagles from going back and getting Doug Peterson. Matt Nagy, the one that we all know and love, he was the guy who, after Peterson and went to Nagy. You know what I'm saying? He didn't call plays. Andy still called those plays. Didn't stop Nagy for getting a job in Chicago. And then we can go further back than this, because I had to do a little digging once we figured out we're gonna talk about it, because I knew those two, but I was like, man, let me see if it's something deeper than that. Maybe it's just his new program. Okay. Brad Childress was his quarterback coach at OC with the Eagles as well, before Brad Childress went and got the Vikings head coach job for a number of years. You know what I'm saying? And Brad Childress, that same thing. Andy's always called his. That's 3. We got, and then Pat Shermer, who failed up twice. And then Pat Shermer's the one that really sticks a nerve in me. He didn't call them plays, right? But he still got all the credit of the guys that we just said before. And then he got a job with the Giants and the Browns after that. And his combined record with the Giants and the Browns is 18-46. He went 9-23, exactly 9-23 on both. Exactly. So anybody who tells me that EB can't get a job because he ain't called on plays, I just gave you 4 coaches. And one of them damn good, won a Super Bowl. And still had a pretty good start to his coaching career. And then another one named Brad Childress, who didn't win a Super Bowl, but he coached some very competitive Vikings teams along the way. You know what I'm saying? He had some competitive Vikings teams. But what I'm saying is they all sat in the same EBC. Everything that we saying about EB, these guys went through that same program. EB just came up the line next following these guys, but then the goalpost moved when EB got there. So that's why I don't know how good Coach EB is gonna be, but my thing is I can't let that be the reason why he doesn't have a job for me. It can't be he ain't whoop, 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 whoop. Because Zach Taylor didn't call no plays when he was under Sean McVay. What's he doing in Cincinnati? He got that job in Cincinnati for one, and then now he got that job, and I'm still waiting to see what's Joe Burrow and Zach Taylor, but he got that job following that same model. He ain't calling no plays. Who's calling plays for Sean McVay? And there's 3 guys off of Sean McVay's little tree. Sean McVay's got a baby tree. You know what I'm saying? And he's already put 2 head coaches. Because the Packers guy came off his tree. You think the Packers coach called any plays for Sean McVay? Hell no. Didn't stop him from going to being able to coach Green Bay, a blue blood organization with Aaron as the quarterback. And so that can't be what's holding EB back. Now, if he ain't got it, he ain't got it. But those just can't be the reasons. I just don't like that those are the things used against him.
For sure. All right, Willie Jack. I hear you, man. And last little piece of news today, man, before we jump off into these games, man. We're gonna end this one on some good news, man. Damar Hamlin, man, he came out, he made a public statement, man, to everybody and thanked everybody for his support, man. And I just want to, lift some spirits, before we dive into these games today, man. So I'm gonna play a little bit of a clip from Damar Hamlin, man. Everybody kind of see, what's going on, what happened, or what he said specifically.
Thankful to everybody. I know that it isn't enough just to be thankful. This is just the beginning of the impact that I wanted to have on the world. And with God's guidance, I will continue to do wonderful and great things. I couldn't do this without any of the support and the love. And I can't wait to continue to take y'all on this journey with me.
Wow.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So of course, man, it's good to see Damar Hamlin, man. We watched, a terrible situation on the field 4 weeks ago. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And this is a guy who was just landing on the field 4 weeks ago, getting CPR on the field. You know what I'm saying? Essentially had passed on the field. You know what I mean? And got resuscitated. So. And again, can't shout them out enough, man. Shout out to that organization and that medical team that came out there for Damar Hamlin, to help him out. And it's good to see him in good spirits. Good spirits, walking around. He came out to the game last week, and watched the Bills. Man, it didn't work out in their favor, but so he came out and watched that, man, and it's just good to see him, man. Good to see him. And now I'm just kind of wondering now, like, what happens in his future? Does he come out and play football again? You know what I mean? And of course, that's the least of his concerns as of right now, but something that eventually, be questioned. You know what I'm saying? In terms of he'll be asked that, or do you plan on playing again? Can he play again? You know what I'm saying? I don't think we've gotten that answer yet, too. So it's just good to see him, though. Good to see him out there talking and giving his support and showing love and thanking everybody. And, we continue to be as, we may put the hashtag out there, man, continue to be DeMar Strong for sure.
Man, and what's crazy, man, I had seen a crazy one of the random Facebook threads and stuff, man. People were saying that DeMar, since he hadn't made a public appearance, they were saying that his face, they hadn't actually seen DeMar. They was like, is that really DeMar? Some type of wild, crazy little conspiracy theory. So just like a few days ago, I seen something like that, and then so he came up with a statement. But yeah, man, people were saying some wild. It was like they was trying to say it was like remember when Gucci Mane had a clone? It was like, no, this ain't Gucci Mane, that's a Gucci clone. It was like they was almost DeMar cloning them. Like, man, is that really DeMar? Who seen him? Who seen his face? Who seen him talk? You know what I'm saying? I was seeing stuff like that. So, but no, just like you said, dog, you hit it right on the head, man. Happy for one, man, that he's here. You know what I'm saying? He's walking, he's talking. And then, like I said, now if football's in his future, man, if he wants it to be in his future, then I hope he gets it. And then, like I said, man, if he makes the decision to do something else, man, I hope he's successful in whatever else he does do, man. Just period. But yeah, nah, man. So, but it's definitely good news to see, man. It appears to be he's well on the way back to some semblance of his former self. So
for sure. All right, man. Now, Willie Jack, man, the moment everybody's been waiting for, man. We didn't talk news, we didn't talk announcements, we let everybody know what's going on, man. And I think it's about time for us to get into these games. But before we jump in first, man.
But before we do,
it's about that time you talk to him, man. Let them know what's going on, dog.
Hey, man, y'all know what's going on. One more time for Real Deal, man. Today's episode of Chop Willie in the Morning brought to you by your dogs from Let the Field Speak, Chop Willie Jack, man. Y'all know what's going on, man. It's brought to you by our good brothers over there at Real Deal STL Sports in the building. Real Deal STL Sports, man. Go tap in with my dog, man. That's my dog, Skinny, my dog, Kevin Wilkinson over there, man. They do it real big, man. Now, it is more so St. Louis based sports scenes, but they branch out and touch major topics as well, man. But tap in over there, man. My dog gets into man, they get real deep in the high school sports and rankings, especially in that greater St. Louis metro area. And so I grew up in Missouri, but not necessarily in St. Louis, but I still enjoy I'm here for all the rankings anyway, man. Y'all know what's up with me. I rank anything, man. You give me 6 fruit, I'm gonna rank them which one's best and worst. You know what I'm saying? So they get real deep into that, man. And then also, just like I said, major sports as well, man. I'd have seen them touch baseball over there, man. I'd have seen them touch professional football over there, man. I'd have seen them touch NBA topics over there as well. So wide range of topics over there at Real Deal STL Sports, man. Tap in with my dog, man. That's good folks, man. Also, too, brought to you by the good brothers over there at No Vultures, the podcast, man. That's our dog, brother Red, man. Joseph Kenny, man. Real good brother, man. And I'll tell y'all something, man. And I don't know if I've ever seen it on the show. Joseph Kenny was probably one of the major sparks that helped get me and Chop in front of a Facebook camera, bro. You know what I'm saying? He was really a push behind the scenes and just hit us up privately and was like, "Hey, man, y'all boys got something, boy. Hey, woo." And then, like you said, man, and then me and Chop was like, "Hey, we got in the lab, man, and here we are, man." So shout out to No Vultures the podcast, man, and brother Ray Joseph Kenny. Like I said, that's a good dude, man. Wide range of topics over there as well, man. He gets into he's big into music, more specifically towards hip hop. And you know what I'm saying? And his generation of hip hop, you know what I'm saying? He's deep into 90s hip hop, late 80s hip hop, you know what I'm saying? That the golden era, I guess, you know what I'm saying? And then he also gets into sports, man, but he doesn't limit to football. He gets into NFL, he gets into boxing. Me and him are both pretty big boxing fans, and so it's good content over there as well, man. Also brought to you by our dogs, man, and No Balls, No Glory, man. They get real busy on Thursdays, man. Thursdays on YouTube, find those boys. And they same thing, man. Baseball, basketball or baseball, football. I think I've maybe seen some NBA content as well, man, when I try to tap in with those boys on Thursdays. But definitely, man, a good group of guys over there as well, man. Brought to you by the good brothers over at Precision Prospect and Precision Paint. Now, that's an Atlanta-based paint company, paint and drywall restoration. But they will fly to a city near you, man. It's 2023, bro. If it's got a plane or a train, we can get there. You feel me? And so, right. and they do just that, man. He move around, but he is Atlanta-based. But like I said, man, painting, drywall restoration, and things, ancillary things of that ilk. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to. I can't tell you everything that goes into it, but man, they do good business. You know what I'm saying? I can tell you that. And so, yeah, tap in, man. You can find them on social media platforms, like I say, Instagram, Facebook, all the major ones. That's Project Precision Painting. And then, man, one more time, man, for the three amigos, man, holding us down the long way, man. You see the lights on. You see me and Chop got electricity. You see these laptops, man. That's three amigos, man. That's like, share, subscribe, baby. You can't go wrong. Like, share, and subscribe, man. We know y'all been doing that, man. We growing every single day. And that's because of the film, man. We couldn't do it without y'all. So, if y'all stay down, I told y'all we're going to bring y'all up with us, man. And here we are in the penthouse, baby. And this is just the next stop because we got somewhere else to go to. You feel me? But, hey, other than that, man, y'all know what's going on the long way, man. We love and appreciate all the support. Hold it down. And other than that, back to the regularly scheduled programming, my brother.
I like that, Willie Jack. I like the way you put that together, man. I like the way you did that. But, yeah, man. It's time to jump into it, man. And this first game we're gonna jump into is probably the game I'm looking forward to the most out of the two. And we're gonna talk about it, man. We got the San Francisco 49ers going to Philadelphia to take on the Eagles, man. We got the Will or Machines going to Philly, man, to take on the Bullies. All right, man. Now, I'm gonna start this one off, Willie Jack. I'm gonna go ahead and get in and get about here and get about your way. You know what I'm saying? But as I go into it, man, first and foremost, we got the San Francisco team, okay? They have defied odds. Yeah, I mean, I guess you can say that. You know what I'm saying? After they lost their quarterback, Jimmy G. You know what I'm saying? Most people looked at this season and say, you know what? That's pretty much it for them. You know what I mean? But since they lost them, they've won 8 straight games, man. They ain't did nothing but just go undefeated with Brock Purdy. That's all. You know what I mean? That's all they did. And then the Eagles, you got this Eagles team that's pretty much been dominant all year long. You know what I mean? With the exception of the last 3 games of the season where they had 2 started by Gardner Minshew, and then the last game of the season where they played the Giants in the divisional matchup. Okay? So this is going to be a tough game, man. Tough game. And I think this game will be the more physical of the two. And it's crazy because you look on the AFC side of things, you know what I'm saying, and the way those teams are constructed, you know what I'm saying, those are 2 teams that's going to pass the ball. You know what I'm saying? The way that they do things is a little bit different. And they're going to play, you know what I'm saying, they're going to play some solid defense, but it's going to be more takeaway type defense than anything. Then you look on the NFC side of things, these teams both want to run the ball. They're going to play real physical. They're going to stop the run, you know what I'm saying, and their defenses are very, very stingy. You know what I'm saying? So you're going to see a little bit of a different style of play from the NFC to the AFC, okay? But here's a few key things in terms of this game, okay? I think Philadelphia, they have the clear advantage, you know what I'm saying, when it comes to like the QB position, and even on the outside at the receiver position, okay? Don't get me wrong, I've been on a Brock Purdy chain. Brock Purdy, well, actually not Brock Purdy, but more so the Will or Machine train.
We should trademark that, boy. I'm telling you. We should trademark that. You should have put that on the shirt.
Yeah, I should have. I should have got it. I should have wore it today. Honestly, I should have wore it today. But we've kind of been on that train. But Jalen Hurts, we talking about Jalen Hurts in the MVP conversation. It probably would have been an MVP if he didn't miss those 2 games towards the end of the season. You know what I'm saying? So I think they have the clear edge there. And the difference between last week and this week is the style of QB that the 49ers have to chase. You know what I'm saying? Hurts at least going to have 10 rushes this game. Okay? You can count on Hurts trying to get out the pocket, and he's going to have 10 rushes this game. Now, the thing is, they all won't be scheduled rushes. They all may not be called rushes. Out of those 10 rushes, and like I said, it's going to be at least, he may have 15. Out of those 15 rushes, 3 or 4 of them may be called. All the rest of them are going to be because the play breaks down, he gets out of the pocket, and he's scrambling for trying to get a few extra yards, trying to pick up a first down, or trying to do whatever he needs to do on that particular play. Okay? And that can actually break the back of a 49ers defense. You know what I'm saying? Because at that point, all of the sound football and the discipline kind of goes out of the window. You can be disciplined, you can be on everybody, everybody can be doing what they're supposed to do, and then boom, he makes a play, makes a guy miss or something like that at the line of scrimmage, and then boom, he breaks away, gets another 8 yards out of the backfield just off scrambling. You know what I'm saying? So those type of things, for one, it's going to make that 49ers offense, that defensive line, they have to contain, but also they have to be disciplined. They have to know how to. Willie Jack, I'm gonna surprise you with this. They got to know how to transfer fallback. You know what I'm saying? They need to know how to. You know what I'm saying? They need to know how to do all these different things whenever they come into. You thought I ain't know.
That's old D line lingo right there, boy.
That's D line lingo. You know what I'm saying? So they're gonna have to know how to do all of these different things today, and they have to win by themselves. You know what I'm saying? Without an extra blitz, without an extra rush. For those 4 pass rushers, they got to win with them. You know what I'm saying? And they're fully capable of doing that, especially having probably the defensive player of the year and Nick Bosa and some other strong guys on the defensive line. So they definitely can do that. And as far as the receivers, for the Eagles, the 49ers are strong up front, you know, so on their defense. Their front 7 is strong, which makes their defensive backs look a little bit better because opposing quarterbacks don't have as much time to hold on to their ball and wait for those receivers to get open. You know what I'm saying? But this Eagles offensive line is different. You know what I'm saying? This is going to be a long day. And Willie Jack, I know you like that trench work. You're going to see a lot of trench work today, man. Who's going to win this matchup? Is it going to be the 49ers defensive line or is it going to be the Philadelphia offensive line? And if that Philadelphia offensive line can play like they've been playing all season long and be bullies and do what they want to and one-on pancake some cats, man, hey, it's going to be a long day for those defensive backs for the 49ers. You know what I'm saying? So I'm anxious to see what that match is going to look like. On to the San Francisco side, Willie Jack.
Okay. There you go, yeah.
This is going to come down to how successful San Francisco can run the ball. Okay. The Eagles, in the middle of the season, they went and got Ndamukong Suh and they got Linval Joseph. You know what I'm saying? In the middle of the season, because they struggled with stopping the run. Now, they did improve, but they still ended the season ranked 17th, you know what I'm saying, in run defense at the end of the season. So they can be ran on. You know, it's just how well can the 49ers scheme this up and how successful can they be today? If they can come out here and they can be successful running this ball, you know, and move these chains and get this first downs and on those 3rd and 2s, instead of passing it with Brock Purdy, you know what I'm saying, being able to run a ball for those first downs or turn those 2nd and what you say last week, those 3rd and 8, turn those that 2nd and 8 into a 2nd and 6, then they can put them in a really, really good position going into, you know what I'm saying, as we get into the later parts of this game. And we all know, you know, what it looks like if you continue to run ball late in the game. You know, people start to get tired and things start to open up a little bit more. And then also, can Brock Purdy continue to play mistake-free football? Okay. We saw him last week under pressure. Okay. And he did make mistakes, which was good on him, because if you don't make mistakes, you put your team in position to still win this game because you got the weapons around you. We've been talking about them all year long. Mm-hmm. You got a line, you got receivers, you got running backs, you got everybody that can make plays. You just get the ball in their hands and let them do what they do. And you don't turn the ball over. So can he continue to do that? That defense, you know what I'm saying, and what they did last week to slow down the 49ers, you know what I'm saying, that slowed them down a lot. They only scored 19 points in the game. You know the last time the 49ers scored under 20 points, Willie Jack? Week 12, bro. 20? Week 12.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Who was it against if you have it pulled up? I don't know. I wonder who was that
The last time they scored was week 12, and that was against I'm gonna tell you in a second, Willie Jack. I'm gonna pull it right up for you. But that was against against New Orleans. They only put up 13. New Orleans held them to 13 points.
Oh, okay. Wow, okay.
Now Garoppolo was still the quarterback, but still, you know what I'm saying? This is a well-oiled machine. That's what I'm saying, and that's kind of my point. You know what I'm saying? This team scores points. That's what they do. So for the Dallas to come out last week and kind of almost give the Eagles a little bit of a blueprint of what to do against this 49er team, that could go very well for this Eagles team. And that's the reason why I got the Eagles winning this game, man. I got the Eagles winning it because I think that defense can slow the 49ers down enough to keep them right around that range. And if they can keep them to 20 points or less, I think they come away and they win this game. And that's my final score. I got 24-20 because I think this Eagles offense is going to be a little different. Yeah, this 49ers defense is the number 1 in the league, but the Philadelphia Eagles offense, man, they bullies, man. They bullies. I think it's going to be a real competitive game. It's going to be real physical. You know what I'm saying? That front 7 for the 49ers is for sure going to be tested this game. But yeah, I'm going Eagles, man. And I think with Jalen Hurts is going to be key in this game with his ability to use his legs, and they come away with the W 24-20.
Man, I'm not gonna lie. I like a lot of stuff you said there, man. And just like Chop told y'all, man, this game for me, I got let down. I wanted to see that. I thought that Eagles Giants trench work was gonna be a lot more competitive, but nah. Eagles O-line was moving furniture. You know what I'm saying? It was pretty one-sided. And so this one is hopefully going to give me what I want to see, man. I want to see them big uglies in there, sumo wrestling. You know what I'm saying? I want to see 50-pound men trading blows. You know what I mean? I want to see it all day. You know what I mean? And namely, I'm talking about man, that Eagles O-line, and just like Chop told y'all, man, that Niners defensive line led by which was probably the forerunner for the defensive player of the year this year in Nick Bosa. And so to see how and what he does with that, man, it's not really many, it's not no soft touches on that Eagles offensive line. And so Bosa will move around a little bit. Now, he won't necessarily go inside, but he'll move from left to right. Well, on the right, you probably got the best right tackle in the game this year, Lane Johnson. And on the left, you've got an athletic marvel of a man, 6'8", like 365 pounds, and the boy can move. Jason, man, I ain't gonna say his name. Y'all know what I'm talking about. He came over playing rugby. But the boy's massive. And you know, and so there's no soft touches on either side for Nick Bosa, man. And then inside, man, where it gets ugly, you know what I'm saying? You still got Eric Armstead, a very capable guy inside. Well, man, he's got to deal with Landon Dickerson, Jason Kelsey, another all-pro center, or another all-pro here this year at center. And then the other guy, I can't even think of his name, but like I said, there's no soft touches on that line either way around. And so I definitely want to see how that plays out. My thoughts on this one, man, I'm also going Eagles. And I'm going Eagles because honestly, I like their matchups on both sides, because for me, the X factor in this game is going to be it's not even so much the trench work, Jalen Hurts running, how much success they have just with that three-headed monster they have running the ball anyway between Jalen Hurts, Miles Sanders, Boston Scott still gets a lot of work in there, and then Kenneth Gainwell as well still gets a lot of work in there as well. But on the outside is where the Niners defense is definitely weakest. And so I just saw CeeDee Lamb give Tre'Davious Ward and them boys 120 yards. You know what I'm saying? And now, and that's a turnover prone Dak flinging 50-50 balls all day. You know what I'm saying? He you know what I'm saying? So now you've got not just CeeDee Lamb in a turnover prone Dak. Well, now you've got Jalen Hurts and you've got AJ Brown. We've seen his worth and what he's done from almost from the gate. And then you've got Devontae Smith, who really came into his own, like I said, sitting in the second seat and has really been a very viable part of that passing offense as well, especially down the stretch, which is the big thing for me. I think he really hit another gear like as the season kind of winded down, those last 5-6 weeks. And so I think that's the real mismatch in this game. If that Eagles offensive line holds up, and I don't see any reason that it wouldn't. I mean, realistically. Now, Bosa's going to have his moments for sure. I'm sure he's still going to make his name felt. I don't know how many of those are going to actually be sacks, because just like my dog told you, Jalen Hurts is one of 6 guys in this league that which should be a 7 yards loss on a sack turns into a 2-yard gain. Now, 2-yard gain doesn't amount to too much. But it's damn sure better than when it should have lost 7 in the backfield. So now instead of 17, we had 2nd and 8. That's huge. That's two separate ball games. You know what I'm saying? So, and Jalen Hurts is one of those guys that can make that happen. I think he will. You know what I'm saying? And that's when on those opportunities where Bosa does go through and make his money as well. Because I do expect he'll throw some blows back. You know what I'm saying? But so I think that's where this really is. I mean, can't forget the young safety for sure. Man, Chop knows his name too.
Talanoa Hufanga.
Talanoa, who found you? You know what I'm saying? He's gonna be back there, man, and he'll have an opportunity to make some. He'll have an opportunity. He'll have an opportunity to make some plays in this one as well, man. And so I think that's where this I think it's gonna be the Eagles. How can they, I guess, put stresses on him, because they essentially run a 4-2-5, and so there's only 2 backers. Primarily, you got Fred Warner and Dre Greenlaw or Kinlaw.
Yeah, Greenlaw.
Who now I've seen people are starting to compare them to Patrick Willis and Navarro Bowman. Now Chop knows how I feel about Patrick Willis and Navarro Bowman as well. And Chop was a huge Navarro Bowman guy as well. So I don't know how you feel about that, Chop. I feel we a little early having that conversation. We talk about we a little early, man. Don't do that, Chop. You know what ball? You know what they? Yeah.
No, this is what I'm finna say. I was finna say I think Fred Warner is capable, But as far as like the combination that they had, nah. Like the Navarre Bowman could have been like in certain seasons could have been considered the best linebacker in the league too. You know what I'm saying? And we know Patrick Willis was Patrick Willis. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, they
Like
was
Navarro Bowman was an
different.
all-pro caliber guy. And I don't know if he ever got an all-pro. Now, I doubt he did because Patrick Willis definitely had one of those seats, and then Kuechly the other. So I don't know if he ever. I don't think he ever got first-team all-pro, or if he even got all-pro because those guys maybe took all the votes and did leave a second. But he was just like Chop said. There's about 3 years there. Navarro Bowman was an all-pro, or he could have been if he wasn't next to Patrick Willis, and if Luke Kuechly wasn't in this league as well. And that was a little early for me to go that far. But I say that because now you need Tyler, who your dog. You know what I'm saying? He's got a lot of run responsibility because he's going to be the guy who comes up the field and kind of fill that role in that as that kind of that third backer in those type of situations, especially for a team like I said who runs behind the big boys on both sides of the ball. The Eagles go for the inside out. So that defense is led by the front line. That offense is led by the front line as well. And so that's where this gets messy. And then especially if they get that run game going, does he get antsy now when he sees Jalen Hurts get away from Nick Bosa and Jalen broke them boys off for 12 yards now on a third and 12, and he should have been sacked for another 4-yard loss, and now it's 1st and 10 because he got 13 on the third and 12. And so now does he get antsy? Now is he too antsy to come up and field? And now do we leave space for AJ Brown? Do we leave space for Devontae Smith? And so I just see those advantages for the Eagles. And then whereas on the Niners side, it's just like my dog told you, man, the well-oiled machine is still moving and grooving, but they are still, for everything we say about Brock Purdy, he's limited. You know what I'm saying? And he can't color outside them lines. You know what I'm saying? He just can't. You know what I'm saying? And so that's not what I've seen. I haven't seen it, or not to the extent that I think maybe he's getting credited for. He's still very much so a cog, a well-performing cog in a greater wheel. You know what I'm saying? And so if you can plan for that. If I know where you're going to be, where it's time for you to be, we can plan for that. That's exactly what game plan it is. That's why we watch film, because okay, these are the things they do. So if one of these teams is going to play more to their tendencies, it's going to be the Niners. So that means the Niners are going to be the easier team to plan for because they're more limited to playing to their tendencies. Whereas if things break down, and not to say that he will, but the possibility that Jalen Hurts can, like I said, chicken salad from chicken S to chicken salad, you know what I'm saying? And so that's still there. And so that's just hard to account for because even if everybody's in the right place, a guy like Jalen Hurts, a guy like Big Josh Allen, a guy like Lamar Jackson, a guy like Daniel Jones now, you know what I'm saying? So we got to give him his respect. You know what I'm saying? A guy like Daniel Jones, still a guy like Patrick Mahomes. Like you can be exactly where you're supposed to be. You can play the defense. You can have the right call for the right call. And you know what? It still may not matter because this guy still make a play. Brock doesn't offer that, and Jalen does. And so, and that's why I see. And then also, man, the Cowboys they did heat up Brock Purdy, but this is gonna be another level with these Eagles. It really is. And I think the Eagles are gonna be too much, man. I think the Eagles are gonna be too much. I've got it Eagles 27-20. And I'm not gonna lie, man. I thought about taking one of those field goals away from the Niners. I really think that the matchups I just really think these matchups favor the Eagles. Now, defensively for the Niners as well, man. I still think the guys they have between Debo, Kittle, and McCaffrey, man, dog, that's a scary lineup. You know, Debo, Kittle, and McCaffrey may as well have been Steph, Clay, and KD. You know what I'm saying? Like real talk, like that type of talent on one team. That's those guys. And then guess what? And then you still got Brandon Ayuk. You know what I'm saying? He's still there. And he's put himself in top 15 receiver conversation. You know what I'm saying? So he's no slouch. There's your Jordan Poole. Or not, Jordan Poole wasn't part of the team. But I don't want to call him Draymond because Draymond wasn't getting buckets. You can go out there and get your bucket. You know what I'm saying? But y'all get where I'm going though. You know what I'm saying? Just like that level of talent. And so like it's an abundance of riches, but then yet and still, it still does, as good as you are out there, somebody's got to pull the trigger. You know what I'm saying? And the Eagles, I think, can really, man, Brock Purdy, man, if he's everything that y'all keep telling me he is, we'll see it this week. We'll see it in this one because he'll have to. He won't be able to coast. He won't be able to. And not to say he's coasted. He's made plays, but to the level of there's still quite a few more levels to go before I'm ready to say he's a difference maker or a playmaker or anything like that. And so this would be a moment where he would have to take a tremendous step forward to show, like, hold on, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, I doodle. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, I color a little bit, but I doodle on the side. You know what I'm saying? I sketch a little bit too. You know what I'm saying? I could do something. So this will be his opportunity. But, you know what I'm saying? If I got to bet my mama's rent money, I'm going with the Eagles. You know what I'm saying? The most dominant team in football, man, from start to finish this season. You know what I'm saying? Short of 2 injury play games for Jalen Hurts, the most dominant team anybody saw in football, which is another reason, like I said, that Jalen Hurts gets my MVP vote. But yeah, man, I'm going Eagles 27-20. And honestly, man, and I don't know if it'll be AJ or Devontae, but I expect one of those guys to be the difference maker. I think that's where the weakness is going to come. And I went ahead and gave AJ Brown 8 catches, 110 yards, and a touchdown in this game. I guess if we had to call like a player of the game or a guy to highlight, so I put AJ Brown, but that stat could easily be Devontae Smith. Whichever one of those is going to draw the off coverage, I just don't expect them to have an answer. And especially, like I said, where there was nobody for Dak to throw the ball to but Niners or CeeDee Lamb. He either threw the ball to Niners players or he threw it to CeeDee Lamb, and they couldn't do nothing with him. And AJ Brown, for me, is still a better receiver.
And speaking of what you just said, he had a guy to throw to. He missed him. You know what I'm saying? He missed him because on that play that we all gave credit, and he deserved the credit on this play, that we all gave credit to Fred Warner for running with CeeDee Lamb down the field. Yeah. On the opposite seam, he had T.Y. butt naked for a touchdown.
Yeah.
You know what
exactly
I'm saying?
Right.
Butt naked for a touchdown. You know what I'm saying? But as Nina heard, he out the playoffs, so we ain't talking about the Cowboys, man. But the one thing I will say, Willie Jack, I like everything that you said. The one thing I will say, I think we have, man. I think we have seen a little bit of off schedule from Purdy, you know, in some of these games. And in fact, I honestly think that was the reason a big part of why they won the game, because of the one specific play to Kittle. You know what I'm saying? I think that was an off-schedule play. I don't even think Kittle was supposed to be scheduled to be going out on that particular play. And shout out to Jeff in the building too. He actually played that play, and he asked, you know, was it a penalty on that specific play? But I'm not gonna get into the penalty side or if they missed it or whatever the case may be. But in terms of that specific play, I mean, it was a play where Brock Purdy rolling to the left, he ended up having to find Kittle. You know what I'm saying? Kittle made a play on the ball, but he had to find him. And off schedule, that play gave them the momentum to go in, punch it in for the touchdown, and the rest is history. You know what I'm saying? So it's little plays like that. He doesn't have to do it often because, you know what I'm saying, they just the wood-off machines. But I think we see a little bit, Willie Jack. I think we see a little bit, man.
Yeah, no, for sure. Hey, shout out to my boys living in the building, man. He see what's going on, man. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, it's a process, man. This part of the process, man. You know what I'm saying? When it's time to tighten up, man, y'all gonna see what's going on. I'm drooping now, boy. Y'all just don't know it yet, man. You know what I'm saying? My shit drooping, boy. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? My shit drooping. Y'all see.
Hey, sis, you in this building? Sis, you in here? I need some help. I think you need to go on over there and holler at my dog, man. Hey. Go check him out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Y'all go see the transformation, man. I'm saving for the big day. But hey, our dog Jeff did slide the building, man. One of the resident Eagles fans in the building, man. He said he taking his Eagles, man, 27-17. He said he want all the smoke. I know I saw day one game Jarrell in here, man. He also an Eagles fan. Jarrell, where your score at, bro? I don't know if I seen your score. I'm trying to find you if you drop one for me, man. But I want to see the score. I told y'all, man, let us in them predictions in the chat. Real deal, man. Our dog Skinny, he said he has the 49ers winning late in overtime. Ooh, man. If this game goes to overtime, man, this may be a top 5-10 game we've seen in the last 5 years. Because that means this was a hell of a game. You know what I'm saying? So I ain't mad at that at all, man. And so I'd love to see that as well. I'm trying to find you. My dog, man, Show Me Vision Entertainment in the building as well, man. I seen his Chiefs prediction. I don't know if you gave me one for the Eagles, for the Eagles-Niners game, bro. Drop me, show me, man. That's our dog, Johnny, man. Johnny, if you still in here, dog, give me your Niners Eagles score as well, so I can put it on the board for you, man, before we get moving. And then baby sis in the building, man, she got the Eagles 24-20. I like that score. You know what I'm saying? Yeah,
that's a smart lady right there. She got the same
score.
Oh,
yeah, that is Chop score.
That's a smart lady right there.
Chop score. Okay, yeah. But yeah, okay. So she in there as well, man. Not the David Ruffin. Nah. He said I had the David Ruffin glow just two Saturdays ago. Nah, we came a long way, big dog. But I'm Chop gonna go ahead and take us to Kansas City and Cincinnati, man. But y'all, if y'all got scores and predictions, man, drop them in the chat. I'm gonna put you on the board. You know, so I'm gonna put it on there for everybody to see, man. And if I can, man, I'll call them out as well. But yeah, now go ahead and take us to Kansas City, big dog.
Gotcha. And shout out my nephew too, man, for tuning in, checking in with me, man. Appreciate you, Neff. Appreciate you, bro.
Building.
All right, man. On to the next one, man. And we got another good one, Willie Jack. The second game of the evening, we got the Cincinnati Bengals going to Kansas City to take on the Chiefs. All right. And as I said earlier, man, this is a different brand of ball we're going to see in this particular game. You know what I'm saying? In terms of this game versus the Eagles and the 49ers. This one right here, this is where we're going to see a few more points, I believe. I think we're going to see a few more points in this game. We're going to see the fireworks. We're going to see these teams duke it out. They're going to go at it. And we're going to see who's really the guy, man. Is it Joe Burrow or is it Pat Mahomes? You know what I'm saying? And it looks like Joe Burrow has something to say. He's like, man, I know there's been a lot of talks about Pat Mahomes the last few years about him being the best in the league, but hey, man, this guy ain't beat me since. You know what I'm saying? I just took down big Josh Allen. You know what I'm saying? Easy win in their house in the snow. You know, so now do I have to show y'all a fourth time? We beat him 3 times already. He ain't beat me once. Do I got to show y'all a fourth time? You know what I mean? Yeah. Why this guy he can't hold my equipment? He can't hold my helmet. You know what I'm saying? Do I have to show y'all again? But no, man, jumping into this game. So like I said, these two teams that like to pass the ball, you know what I'm saying, which I think it's going to put a lot of pressure on each of these teams, pass rush and the DBs, okay? And jumping off into the Chiefs, this game is going to put, to me, a lot more pressure on, and I was just going to say Andy Reid, but for the sake of our argument at the top of the not argument, but our conversation at the top of the show, this puts a lot more pressure on Andy Reid and Eric Bieniemy. Let me go ahead and throw his name in there, man. I'm gonna start saying this name more often, man. Free EB, man. How about that?
Free EB. Hey, we definitely hashtagging that. Hell yeah.
Free EB, man. Free my boy EB, man. Get that boy a head coaching opportunity, man. Give him an opportunity, man. We're gonna get him out here, man. Get him seen, get him exposed. But free EB, I'm gonna start saying the name more often, man. So this game is gonna put a lot of more pressure on them. And I'm just going to get right to it, man. And a lot of it is going to have to do with Mahomes and the injury to that ankle. You know, I've sprained my ankle a few times throughout my life, you know, both ankles twice. You know what I'm saying? So I know a lot about sprained ankles. Now, I will also say this. Everybody's different. You know what I mean? And in the NFL, they got a lot more things that I didn't have access to when I sprained my ankles. You know what I mean? They've been working with Mahomes. They've been doing everything that they can, and he's going to be ready to go. Now, I still think he's going to be limited. I don't think he's going to have that same mobility, which part of that is what makes Mahomes so great, you know, because as we talked about as we recap the game between them and the Jaguars, the first drive of that game, I mentioned he had 2 jump throws. You know what I'm saying? He had, plays where he's using mobility and making those throws, and which helped drive the Chiefs down the field to put up points. And I don't know if he's going to have that same type of mobility in this game. And if he doesn't, he's just going to have to sit there, pick apart the Cincinnati defense and, just do his thing from there, just straight from the pocket, get rid of the ball quick, which I think for the Bengals, the pressure, getting pressure on him is going to be huge. If you can get pressure on Mahomes this entire game, then that's going to change some things. And they really limit this Chiefs offense. So the reason I say it's going to be a lot more on Andy Reid and Eric Bieniemy and EB is because they're going to have to really, really be cooking this game and come up with some different things to scheme a lot of guys open, to get the ball out quick, and to make everything, operate fluently as it normally is, week to week. So I think there's going to be a lot of pressure on them in terms of that. But it also means Mahomes is going to have to be sharp. We've seen Mahomes, and we're not going to sit out here and act like Mahomes is just this perfect quarterback. Mahomes will sit back there and he'll make some mistakes. He'll have a few boneheaded throws. He'll throw into some coverage, and Willie Jack was on there last year. He was telling us a lot about that last year. But, we've seen it time and time again where, he'll be off. You know what I mean? Now I expect them to be really locked in this particular game, but at the same time, we've seen it time and time again where Mahomes will be missing a few different times. So he needs to be sharp, and they also need to rely a lot on Isaiah Pacheco, the rookie, and what's the other running back name? Catches on McKinnon, Jerick McKinnon.
Jerick McKinnon.
So
Yeah.
those two guys are really going to have to show up in this particular game and really take a lot of their load off for the Kansas City Chiefs. And if they're able to do that, that's going to put the Chiefs in a good position. Now, on the other side of that, hey man, I'm the Zach Taylor is the head coach of this Cincinnati Bengals team, and the way that this offense looks, I really don't know how they're gonna come out, because the Bengals come out, they one of those teams, they'll surprise you. You know what I mean? Nobody expected the Bengals to come out the way that they came out last week against the Bills, especially being down linemen. I didn't expect them to just go right straight down the Buffalo Bills' throat and score at ease. You know what I mean? So for me, I ain't putting nothing past them. You know what I mean? But I think part of that too is Burrow's getting the ball out quick too. You know, so if we're gonna have offensive line problems, cool. We everything is quick. So what type of adjustments are y'all gonna make, Chiefs? You know what I'm saying? To make Burrow hold on to the ball a little bit longer. Give Chris Jones a chance to get after that quarterback and make Burrow scramble. Now, that's the thing too. Burrow can scramble. So Burrow can change, first he can change 3rd and 8 into moving the sticks. First down, and now we going back to the drawing board. Now you got to come guard us again. So he's another one of those quarterbacks that can kill you on third down after you just play perfect coverage. You know what I'm saying?
Very slept on athlete. Like he's way sneaky athlete. He's perfect guy you think of. When you say sneaky athlete, that's Joe Burrow all day.
That's him. Very sneaky athlete. So he's a guy that can hurt you in terms of that. But then also, like, you got to know he's coming out. He's ready. You know what I'm saying? He's earned that nickname already. It's Joe Cool, man. He's coming out. He's ready. He's ready to go. He always plays with a chip on his shoulder. It was one video I saw, and this let me know that it was something. He's different. He talked about his love for the game in terms of he saw Tom Brady get hit or sacked or whatever, and saw him get hit and got up off of the ground. And for Joe Burrow, that was just it. For Joe Burrow, that was what made him really want to play the game. Made him really love the game. It's something about that lets me know. It's when it comes to greatness, guys that are great, man, are wired different. You know what I'm saying? And that alone let me know, oh yeah, man. Hey, you got to see Joe Burrow. That's a different type of guy you got to see, man. He is wired different. You're not going to see all the – he's also one of those guys, I don't think you're going to see a whole bunch of MVPs and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Like you would see like from Aaron Rodgers and, the Peyton Mannings and stuff like that. He's not going to be that type of guy.
You don't think Burrow's going to get an MVP, bro?
No. I'm not saying he won't get one. He'll get one. But what I'm saying is Tom Brady versus Aaron Rodgers. Okay? Aaron Rodgers got how many MVPs?
Okay, so Joe might get the rings and Patty might get the MVP.
Joe might get the rings, you know what I'm saying? In which Pat Mahomes has a ring already, so he's But Joe, when it comes to the wins, Joe is going to be the guy by any means necessary. I'm going to win this game. Pat Mahomes is going to have all the accolades. When you look next to his name, you know what I'm saying? Or you look behind a doctor's name or somebody who's been to school and graduated with all these degrees, you see all those letters behind their name. You can see a whole bunch of letters behind, you know what I'm saying, Pat Mahomes' names. But Joe Burrow, you might see a few, but in that ring column, in that win column, he going to run it up. You know what I'm saying? He's that type of guy in a sense, when it comes to playing the game and just figuring out how to win. So I said all that to say, give me the Bengals in this game, man. I'm going Bengals in this one over Chiefs. I think that this game would have been – I think the game can be interesting, but I wouldn't be surprised if this is a 2-score game. You know what I'm saying? A 2-touchdown game by the end. I would not be surprised, honestly. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't be surprised at the end of this one. But for the sake of it being what it is, give me 30-24. 30-24. No, 31-24. 31-24, Bengals over Chiefs.
Man, too. I don't think about that. I don't know, man. I don't know if I just can't imagine Patty just completely just gets outgunned in the crib, man, like that. And this is the thing. So I went back heading into this game. I felt confident. I felt really good that I wanted to pick the Bengals to win this game. I don't like the tone coming out of Cincinnati here these last couple. They done got ultra disrespectful. You know what I'm saying? They done got ultra. The mayor came out on national television. On that, what Shannon Sharp said on that Hard Knocks, on national TV, on national television, you the disrespect. This mayor of Cincinnati came out and said, look, man, we have a DNA test ran to determine whether or not Joe Burrow is Patrick Mahomes' father. The mayor said that. The mayor, they call it Arrowhead Stadium, Burrowhead Stadium.
Burrowhead Stadium.
They getting ultra disrespectful. And then what it made me think of is, for one, Lil Wayne told y'all, you don't step on the tail of a dragon. That's for one. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, y'all done got some off, and y'all did. Y'all done had their number this season, earlier this season and in years past. Like, yeah, but you don't poke the bear. You know what I'm saying? If the bear charges you, you put him down, but you don't go poke the bear, though. That's different. You don't go poke the bear.
You don't go asking for the problems.
Yeah, you don't ask for the work. You leave him alone. Because the motivation that Cincy had, and Cincy's one of those teams, and I said this kind of before when we was talking about Cincinnati. Since Joe Burrow, a guy like Joe Burrow, similar to a guy like Baker Mayfield, honestly, they had to go get it. Like, it wasn't given to him. You know what I'm saying? Joe Burrow put his time in at Ohio State and had to leave to go to LSU and make a name for himself. You know what I'm saying? We saw that with Baker Mayfield. He was at Texas Tech, gets set aside for Patrick Mahomes. Can't nobody be mad at that. And then he had to go get it out the mud himself at Oklahoma. And they didn't. He walked on. He walked on and banged it out. And then won a Heisman. Went to the playoffs. And so Joe Burrow's story is pretty similar to that, which is why I just appreciate like a guy that had to go the long way to do it. You know what I'm saying? So Joe Burrow is one of those guys, but they played. I think those. And not to say I expect Joe to be Joe because he's a guy. You know what I'm saying? So if you a guy, I expect you to show up every day. You know what I'm saying? So he's a guy, but like that team, and I feel like they kind of they thrive or they feed off that underdog mentality that ain't nobody give us no credit mentality. Oh man, we just in the Super Bowl last year. Now they selling tickets for a game in Atlanta and we ain't even played yet. Boy, somebody got us messed up. And then we come out there and we put it on these boys. You know what I'm saying? Like I think like the psyche of that team plays that way. I don't feel good about Cincinnati showing up trying to trying to shine on Patty and Kansas City. Like, hold on, man, y'all going a little too much dip on your chip. Now you got to slow down a little bit. Don't get disrespectful. Hey, man, Patrick Mahomes' daddy probably watched TV. He probably watched the news. I know he's seen it. Man, hold on, damn minute. What y'all said? And Kansas City's a very, very loyal, fanatical fan base for one. They should have never gave Kansas City money because Kansas City, boy, these fans that ran rampant. Boy, I knew who you was for the last 30 years. Y'all been here for 5. I know what Kansas City been about. That's a different conversation. It's all good. But now, like I say, you to poke that bear, you to stepped on the dragon's tail. You know what I'm saying? And Patty already had his own adversity anyway, dealing with the ankle. And so, and just the competitor that Patty is and what we see and what we know about Patty, he's also a guy that he's here to shut people up as well. You know what I'm saying? Because he got to where he was coming out of Texas Tech. Not even Texas A&M. Not even UT. Texas Tech is down the line in Texas schools. He's a Texas kid. UT didn't give him a scholarship, so he went the long way as well. He went and took a job from Baker Mayfield. You know what I'm saying? Who we know is a capable guy. You know what I'm saying? Who went to Oklahoma, won a Heisman, was in position to win a national championship, and then was the number 1 draft pick in the league. And so he went and got his out the mud as well. You know what I'm saying? From an unbeaten path. And so he's already dealing with the ankle, and he's already fighting. In my mind, Patty was going to come out here and ball because he was going to show boys, man, y'all thought, boy, I'm MJ with the flu. You think this ankle bothered me? You know what I'm saying? That's the type of motivation in my mind. In my mind, this is what Patty's thinking. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. That's what I did. That's what I put on him. Patty was ready to go out there and have a flu game. And so now Patty already was ready to have a flu game. And now you talk about this, bruh, my daddy, my crib is his crib. Bruh, that's ultra disrespectful. That, I'm not going to lie, that really changed my pick to Kansas City, bruh. That really changed my pick to Kansas City. Because, and another thing about that, you've got a guy in Kelsey who, man, Kelsey is, you know what I'm saying? He's also got his own motivation as well. Because Kelsey is one of those, Kelsey reminds me of like a very loyal attack dog. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like in my mind, Kelsey's like, hold on, man, they talking about my dog now. He had a TO, there's a TO my quarterback moment. Who's going to talk about my quarterback? You know what I'm saying? Kelsey ready to show out too. Like, oh no, they got my dog messed up. they got my dog messed up. And then also the Brother Bowl, man, the Kelsey Bowl, Philly and Kansas City. Both Kelseys make the bowl. We've seen it. We've seen a Harbaugh Bowl on the coach side. I don't know if we've seen brother versus brother, player to player though in the Super Bowl. And so this very well may be the first time that we get that. And then honestly, in my mind, the football gods, man, and the football universe, sometimes like when these stories are floating around, it happens. That's how I felt it happened with Baltimore and the Niners that year. Now the Niners were a dominant team that year. Baltimore, not so much. I mean, they were a very competitive team, but it wasn't written on the wall for Baltimore to get there. And then they did, and we got a Harbaugh Bowl. You know, it's historic. And so, being as dominant as these two teams have been, and with that being out there, and then now you handed Patty and Kansas City some gasoline. Now you got Patty and you got Patty and the Chiefs fighting off the ropes like they ain't been to the AFC Championship game for 5 years in a row. Like we ain't been there. Y'all just got here. You've been here for 2 years, boy. I've been here for 5. Y'all just got here. You know what I'm saying? It's a freshman that came in and he didn't sit at the senior table. You know what I'm saying?
That freshman been busting that senior.
Hey, he did though. He gave some buckets. He did. He gave some buckets. He did. But now the senior. Now you done woke up the senior. It's one thing you go out there and you go out there and you do your thing. You got to beat your superiors respectfully. You know what I'm saying? Like you don't trip. You know, don't give Iron Mike in his heyday. Don't give him a reason to want him to knock you out. He was gonna knock you out anyway. Don't give him a reason to. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm going Kansas City, man. I think they done gave Kansas City all the fuel and ammunition that they needed to. Because now we ain't playing the game. Now Kansas City, like, hold on, they put something on my name, boy. And I gotta get that right. Y'all ain't gonna be out here talking about me, like, you know what I'm saying? Like now Kansas City playing, they gave Kansas City a chip. And one thing about a champion, a contender, one of them ones, that's why I said about Joe Burrow. When they were selling them tickets in Atlanta, Joe wasn't feeling like that was on Joe's mind. And he went out there and made sure boys know from the gate. And now you done gave that same ammo, that same ammunition, that same fire, that same drive, that same y'all got me effed up. Y'all done just gave that to Kansas City, who didn't need no help no way. So I can't. I'm going Kansas City. Now if Cincinnati wins, I'm not gonna say I'm not gonna be surprised if Cincinnati win at all. And like I said, before everything outside the game is going to be what it is, man. These guys are going to go duke it out. And just like my dog Chop said, man, if it's going to be big uglies in that first one, man, the 300-pound men throwing blows. In this one, nah, man, it's going to be shooting stars, man. It's going to be guys trading. It's going to be guys trading Hail Marys, you know what I mean? Or trying to, you know what I'm saying? So that's the game we're going to get. But I'm going to go Kansas City now, man. I just can't get behind Cincinnati. Just they got a little too much dip on their chip, man. They feel like they just a little too much, and I think it gives all that ammunition that they came into, all the fire they had, they just gave to Kansas City. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm gonna go Kansas City. I'm stalling, trying to think of a score for you, Chop. I don't think we scored quite that many points. While I'm stalling, another good matchup, man. Chris Jones, see what he does against this rebuilt Cincinnati Bengals offensive line as well. And so Chris Jones, another guy who's firmly in that mix, in that race with Nick Bosa and Micah Parsons for Defensive Player of the Year. But Chris Jones had a phenomenal year at tackle. And so now he gets to really go to work on that interior of that Bengals line as well. Him being at the crib, another guy who's going to be super motivated. Like I said, everybody in Kansas City got like – Now we playing to win this game, and also we playing to get our name back because the boys done took our name from us. We gotta go get that back. I'm gonna go 27-24 Kansas City. Okay. I'm gonna go 27-24 Kansas City. Just a little less scoring than my dog Chop had. But yeah, I'm gonna go there, man. I think Cincy did themselves a disservice, like I said, man. Giving that ammunition to Kansas City. I really think so. I'm gonna say this, man. And here's I got two things. Here's another aspect of the game too that I didn't really say too much about. So first off, when it comes to the ammunition part of it, hey man, and the reason I ain't buying that is because Chiefs should have been had ammunition. This team beat you the last 3 times y'all played. You know what I'm saying? And then on top of that, they beat you in the playoffs. They came back and beat you. You know what I'm saying? So y'all should have been had the ammunition. They beat you in the regular season, and then you get to the playoffs and they beat you again.
You know what I'm saying? And then you turn around this year and it's like, oh man, we're gonna get our get back. Nope, they beat you again. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Good. Now think about that. Now think about all of that. So that's what I'm saying. You was already teed up. Now imagine that just happened, and then imagine mom's at the grocery store, and somebody walk by and tell Mom Dukes, like, man, how our son doing? Is Lil Chop still at Bingo Crib? Is he still at Barrowhead practicing? You know, that's a whole, like, I already owed you one. I already owed you 3. Now, y'all in here, now, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's something else. You know what I'm saying? That's like, just like when, like in boxing, when it turned from competition to personal. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's something else. If I thought I was motivated, and now my pops is at the crib chilling. You know, older, before you get a little older, he have his morning coffee. Turn the news, man, see what's going on ESPN. And he got the mayor of Cincinnati talking about some random white boy in Cincinnati, my son daddy. My son plays at Burrowhead Stadium. Man, hold on, man. Now I got, hey, boy, you heard these folks saying about you? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's something else. They was already teed up from everything you said, and now we got this as well. Like, yeah, man, hey, that's something extra. That's something extra.
Okay.
Yeah.
And here's the other thing. Now, this goes to the X's and O's of it. Okay. And this is why I think the the Chiefs gonna have problems, because not only you're dealing with the ankle issues with Pat Mahomes, but you honestly, I think this is where the missing Tyreek Hill not being there is gonna hurt the Chiefs. This is where it's gonna hurt them, because I think they're gonna find a way to take Kelsey out of the game, and those other receivers are gonna have to win one-on-one matchups. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna have to win against the DBs. You know what I'm saying? And they're not gonna have a lot of time to do it. They're gonna have to win early and often. You know what I'm saying? So that's, I think, also gonna be key. And I think I'm going Bengals in terms of the edge in that matchup. You know what I'm saying? When you're watching those receivers and those weapons versus the Cincinnati Bengals defense. And actually, that's why I said earlier too, the run game is really gonna have to be big for the Chiefs. They really gonna have to step up big.
Oh, I got you. And I was in the chat hollering at Jeff, man. He said when I was talking about Chris Jones, as far as being in the running for Defensive Player of the Year, he said they snubbed Hassan Reddick for the Eagles. He said he had better numbers than Chris Jones. Nah, man. Nah. Chris Jones was the man amongst boys this year as far as interior defensive lineman goes. But also, man, don't forget your boy Hassan Reddick. He was a specialist for one, but then also he was the top sack guy on that team, but a team that had 5 guys in double-digit sacks. So Hassan Reddick had, I think Chris Jones finished with 15 and a half sacks. I don't know if y'all can name me the other starter. Well, maybe y'all can, because y'all, you know what I'm saying, y'all football fanatics like us. But the average fan probably can't tell you the starting D line of the Chiefs, but they may know Chris Jones. But the Eagles had 5 guys had double digit sacks. Hassan Reddick, Josh Sweat, Hargrave, Javon Hargrave, Brandon Graham.
Was it 5? I thought it was 4. Well,
No,
it could be. I don't know.
Okay, 4 or 5.
I know it was at least. I know it's 4 for sure.
Okay, at least 4, and you know what I'm saying. Those 4 for sure, and then on top of that, you still got Fletcher Cox, who's he's not the guy he was, but he's still a very solid presence on the interior of that line as well. And so he had a great year on all-time historic great defensive run as far as sack reduction. They broke the 84 Bears total team sack record. You know what I'm saying? But one of 4 or 5 guys, whereas Chris Jones, he carries a lot more weight on that Chiefs defense than maybe Reddick does on the Eagles.
Yeah, and also Chris is an interior lineman. Hassan Reddick rushing off the outside. You know what I'm saying? He's rushing off the end. You know what I'm saying? So to have that type of production rushing from the inside is different. You know what I'm saying? That's a different type of production. You have to weigh those differently. You know what I mean? Interior lineman getting 15 sacks versus interior lineman's 15 sacks ain't the same as a defensive end's 15 sacks. That's 2 different types of sacks. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I see where you're going with that. Yeah.
Even if you just look at the stat, you go look at the top 10 stat guys. You count the interior line and then count the list of edge rushers. It's gonna be a wide. It's gonna be different.
No, and that's fair. Well, a lot of that also is the primary a lot of the times the guys inside are there to keep the linebackers clean, clog the lanes. So rush is oftentimes secondary in a lot of instances, just as far as their just true to form responsibility. You know what I'm saying? Because even pushing the pocket is, in some defenses, especially depending on your scheme, pushing the pocket may be even more valuable. Have constant pressure pushing the pocket may be more valuable in a certain defense than actually you beating your 101 and maybe getting a sack or being in a position to get a sack, because you leave so much more open to everybody else if you don't come through when you're in the middle. So that's actually interesting though. That's actually interesting though. But nah, man, I can't go Reddick there, man, because there's so many great names on that defense before we even get to him. And he wasn't a regular starter, or he wasn't a regular down in, down out like guy. You know what I mean? Like it was a more so specialized role. Well, I mean, they roll and they rotate. I shouldn't say that, but what I'm saying is, like, if I talk to you about the Eagles defensive line, I'm gonna name the names I know first. I'm gonna name your Brandon Graham and your Fletcher Cox, because they've been there the longest, of course. But then you still got Josh Sweat, who's been there for a while. Like I say, also got 10 sacks this year. And then, like I said, I mean, then you draft Jordan Davis. You bring in, and now there was some injury. You bring in Joseph and Sue, and so I mean, there's just a lot of stuff going on there as well, man. And he had a phenomenal year. But I don't, defensive player of the year, I don't know, man, because I don't know, man. That defense was pretty stacked. That defense was pretty stacked. I ain't gonna lie. But not short on him. He balled for sure. Then my dog Tom in here, man. I meant to say something earlier. He said if they talk that ish and back it up, talking about these Bengals, that he needs some big barrelhead energy. Oh, and that's for sure. That's definitely for sure. Joe go get this done. And that's the thing too. I'm not. I had Cincy going into this game. I just don't like the energy around Cincinnati right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't like the energy around the Bills going into that Cincy matchup. Because, like I said, like the tickets in Atlanta, and then knowing just my thoughts on what we know about Joe Burrow. So it's the same thing. And, you know, I went with Big Josh. You know what I'm saying? That's my dog last time. But like I said, I didn't feel good about it. This one, I don't necessarily have a dog in this fight, man. So I'm gonna go with the energy, man. I think they gave a guy who didn't need motivation that extra motivation. Like I said, Petty didn't need that pushing. Y'all gave it to him anyway. Just like my dog Chop said. Oh, Jeff still in here. He said Parsons had 13 and a half. And so, yeah, so the raw sack number, nah. So Parsons 13 and a half, but Parsons was more integral to the overall success of Dallas's defense, whereas Chris Jones was also more integral to the overall success of the Chiefs defense. I think their overall impact on everybody around them, when they don't get home, they still make their presence known. Like, they still raise the tide for everybody. They're the guys who raise the tide for everybody else. Hassan Reddick isn't a guy that raises the level of play of everyone as well. Like, everybody's playing well and he's playing great, but I don't think he's the catalyst for that being a great defense. That's what I'm trying to say. Hassan Reddick, I don't think, is the catalyst for that defense being great. Because I saw Darius Slay come out and for the first 3 weeks of the season look like an all-pro. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then James Bradbury comes up. James Bradbury as well, who had a Pro Bowl caliber year. Chauncey Gardner-Johnson as well, who you got for a bag of Skittles and 2 packs of Bubblicious. You know what I'm saying? And who tied for the league in interceptions, and he missed 6 games. You know what I'm saying? So TJ Edwards, their linebacker, had a career year this year as well. And then you still have Brandon Graham, who's the longtime stalwart there. He had a career year at what I think like 11 and a half sacks. And Josh Sweat also breaks it. So, like, he was great on a conglomerate of just a great unit, but I don't think he's the guy that pushed everybody else's level up. And that's why I would go all 3 of those guys is ahead of him, the defensive player of the year. But he, like I said, 16 sacks and 5 forced fumbles isn't anything to sneeze at all. But it's not it's not 16 sacks and 5 forced fumbles is an excellent year. It's not all time. It's not enough for me to credit him with more credit than I would give Bosa or Parsons or Christian Jones. Honestly, you know what I'm saying? And so that's why I would go. That's why I would go there. That's why I would say that.
Okay. All right. Well, Willie Jack, man, give me your performer of the week, man. We ain't
yeah. And in this Chiefs game, man, and honestly, I don't think it's necessarily going to be. I don't know what the numbers are going to be. I think Patty has it in his mind to go out there and get his name back. You know what I'm saying? I think, and I don't know what those numbers are, because I don't think I thought about making this score even lower than that, man. I looked at 23-20 24, 21, 23, 21. I think it's going to be a tougher, more. I think the big plays in this one are going to be truly in the big moments. I think both of these guys trade. I think they really do trade haymakers, similar to what we seen in that Bills-Chiefs matchup, where one player goes out there and makes a phenomenal drive, and then you know what the other one does? He comes right back and makes another phenomenal drive. You know what I'm saying? Like, we forget, as exciting as that Chiefs-Bills game was, 40 of those points got scored in the second half in overtime. You know what I'm saying? Like, that was a very close competitive game. That was like a 17-13 game or you know what I mean? There was an explosion of points where they started trading haymakers, and both those guys rose to the challenge. And so I think it's going to be one of those where Patty may only throw for 275 yards in this game, and maybe it's let's say if Patrick throws 250, 2 touchdowns, there's room for him to get two or three touchdowns. But the way it happens, him playing on that bum ankle, him evading, like Chop just said, man, the boy was running on one leg, making jump passes to keep people off his leg. He still scrambled for a first down. The first play he came back in on the bum leg. So I think it's going to be more so of these gutsy heroic plays that are timely when you've got to have them. Justin Herbert, you know what I'm saying? I'm not talking about the plays you make when it's great, when the pressure ain't on. I'm talking about
leave him alone, man.
I know, man. I couldn't help it, man. I couldn't help it. But that's just the conversation that we have is like, make those phenomenal. It's one thing to make those plays, and you can't take credit away from them. But there's a different caliber of player when you make those plays when you got to have it. You know what I'm saying? Minka Fitzpatrick ain't blocked a field goal in 2 years. He blocked one when we had to have it. You know what I'm saying? TJ Watt, a sack when you have to have it. Like, this is it. Man, this is the game right here. We need one. You know what I'm saying? I think both these guys give us that. Both these guys answer that bell. And I think kind of it's what my dog Skinny said earlier, where the Bengals may have the lead in this game, and then Patty makes a late push. Patty steals this one late. And there's nothing that Joe did wrong or nothing that I don't think it's anything that Joe didn't show up, but kind of just like I said again with the Bills and the Chiefs, Josh Allen just didn't get a chance to get the ball back. He didn't do anything wrong. He didn't necessarily lose. He ran out of time. You know what I'm saying? And that's a credit to Mahomes. He ended that game when he had a chance to. And so I think it may be something like that where I think they both go back and forth. They both make those great plays. They both make those dynamic plays. They both show up when we have to have it. Then I think just like Skinny said, man, Chiefs at home. Let's say it's 2024. Patrick Mahomes has this ball with 2 minutes, 36 seconds left. He's got one timeout. He's got to go 85 yards. And ain't nobody in that huddle blinking. Nobody in that huddle sweating. Because we got our guys got the ball. We got the 2 minute warning, and we got a free timeout as well. And we had the crib. And these boys think it's sweet. Yeah, we going up top. And Patty gets it done, man. I think it could play out like that as well, man. I think Patty said, y'all gonna get this dirt off my name, man. I really think so. Patty coming back out here and like, nah, somebody got me messed up, man. Y'all have told my pops ain't my pops. I'm living in Joe Burrow's house. Remember, we talk about how disrespectful it is for a boy to come in your crib, sit on your couch, grab your remote control, make a big ass sandwich out of your refrigerator. Now they didn't went a step past that. Now he didn't put you out your house. Now he didn't move you into your guest room. It's Burrowhead Stadium now. Now he done kicked you out the master. Him and your wife in the master, you on the couch? Hell no. Patty ain't going for that, man. Patty ain't going for that.
Man, who's your performer of the week, man?
Yeah. I was delaying. I was stalling. I'm going. You know what? Travis Kelce, because I don't think that Patty's necessarily going to light it up as far as the stats, like I just told y'all. But the guy, you know what I'm saying? What Denzel saying? Remember the Titans? He said just like Novocaine, you do it long enough, it always work. You know what I'm saying? He's like, we run 3 plays, run them long enough, they always work. And that's Travis Kelce. I give Travis Kelce the ball enough times, man, it's gonna come through. You know what I'm saying? And I expect him to have a big day, man. And I'll say something. This is gonna be weird. I'm gonna give him 12 catches. 12 catches. I think it's more volume. 12 catches. I only think it's 100 yards. Let's say 12 catches, 80 yards, but 2 touchdowns. And one of those being the game winner. Okay. No, I don't even know if it's 2. 12 catches in the game-winning touchdown. The yards going to be what they are. 12 catches, double-digit catches in the game-winning touchdown. Travis Kelce going to come through in the clutch for his dog patty cakes.
All right, and I'm gonna go to the other game, man. As my performer of the week, I'm going AJ Brown, man. AJ Brown's my performer of the week this week. I think this is what they brought him over for. This is the moment, man. And you got this number 1 defense of the San Francisco 49ers. I think the secondary is where the holes can be. And if my boy, if that offensive line of the Eagles can hold up a few times, give Hurts a little bit more time, or well, actually not a little bit more time, but the time he's been getting all year, if they can hold up, AJ Brown has a big game, man. Give him 125 yards and give him a touchdown. Give him 2 touchdowns. 125 yards, 2 touchdowns for AJ Brown, man.
Okay. Yeah, I had similar. Well, I thought you ain't gonna pull a performance for each game. So it's only 2 games. I was at AJ Brown. Yeah, because I had AJ Brown for 110 in the touchdown, and then Kelsey. Yeah, give me. Yeah, it's only 2. Give me. Who's gonna be?
Well, I'm gonna come back over here. Give me. I'm going 2 receivers then, man. I'm thinking Chase. I'm going Chase. Chase is gonna be another guy. He tears the Chiefs up every time he plays them anyway.
This is true.
What I'm saying? And I think he has another one of those. So give him also 8 catches. 100. I'm giving him 136. I'm gonna be specific. 8 catches, 136 yards, and a touchdown, man, for Jamar Chase.
See, this is what. See, now I don't like. See, this was scary because when Chop get those weird specific predictions, those is the ones that hit. When Chop says he gonna have about 267 yards, 3 touchdowns, he gonna give you an interception too. But those is the ones that come through. Those is the ones that come through. Those are the ones that come through. Damn.
I'm trying to tell you, dog. I'm trying to tell you.
Those are the ones that come
through. It ain't too late, Willie Jack. You can come on.
No, I ain't gonna lie, man. No, I'm gonna go with Patty, man. Like I said, it's one thing to come home and find out you've been robbed. It's another thing to come home and find out the dude who robbed you still in the house. You know what I'm saying? Like that's just another level. You know what I'm saying? You ain't even want to leave. You ain't even want to run away. You been in here watching TV. What you doing? Like, what you doing in here, bro? Like that's another level of disrespect, man. I'm gonna go with Patty, but like I said, I'm not selling Joe short at all. If Joe goes out there and walks down these Chiefs for a 4th time, I'm not gonna be surprised. You know what I'm saying at all? That's Joe. Like I said, he one of the ones. I ain't gonna put it past him, and he can. But I just don't like the energy around Cincy right now, man. I think they did something extra. Hey, our dog Josh, man. Josh in the building, man. Good to see you, big dog. He I guess he said he got in here late, man. So he said we taking the Eagles. And so it sounds like he taking the Niners. Give me a prediction, bro, before we get out of here, man. It's always time to wrap up. But drop a prediction in there for me, man, so I can put it on the board for you, man.
He said he got Brock Purdy, man. He said he like Brock Purdy.
Yeah. Oh, I ain't know if he had a score for me. So okay, so he is taking the 9. Okay, there you go. And he got for the performer of the week as well. Man, I ain't lying, man. If Brock Purdy is the performer of that game, then yeah, that definitely goes a long way, man, to what y'all keep telling me about Brock Purdy. You know what I'm saying? Like that goes a long way to do that. And honestly, to win this game, he'd have to be. And that's why I can't trust him to do it. And that's why I can't take the Niners. I can't trust him to be the guy to elevate that team, you know what I'm saying, when it comes down to it. He said what? 50 push-ups. What, combined? Like 25
he got the 49ers, I guess.
He got 50 combined? 25. Hey, I don't know how you feel about that, Chop. Oh, matter of fact, Chop. Hey, yeah, Chop in the hole a little bit. I finally came through. He got some time though. I came through finally.
Oh yeah, I do. How many I owe you, dog?
I think it was just 20. I think we just traded 20.
Okay. Yeah. You got it when we get off, bro. I'm gonna go live.
No. You could not take your time. Take your time. You see how long it took me to get around to mine. My auntie in the building said she also thinks Chase gonna go off today. Rini, did you give me a prediction? I don't know. I think she said. Did you say Eagles? Was it Eagles Chiefs? Ain't Rini? Let me know real quick. And then our dog Josh back, man. He got the Niners 27-23. Okay, 27-23.
All right, what are you
look, hey, John, I'm gonna tell you, look, man. We look here. We a team, man. We're not gonna let you divide and conquer us. We are a team. You know what I'm saying? I contribute 25 of them if you want to take them up on that.
We do. I'm with it. Come on, we can do it. We got Eagles. We got the Eagles, man. 25, and then if you lose, all you gotta do is 25, Josh.
Yeah. Call it 25.
The group chat is open. The group chat is open, so you can put that 25 on in there. And they play first, so I expect by first quarter of the second game for you to have that 25 on up for us, Josh. No, so go
hey, Josh said bet. Hey, there it is. Hey, bet good. 25 there, bet good. Sure. And my dog Tyler here, he know what's going on, man. When somebody, y'all know what's going on. Hey, bet good, man. That's locked in. Bet good, man. We good. Let's do it.
It's locked in, man. All right, well, Willie Jack, man, that's it and that's all, man. We went through everything, man. Went through the games. We talked some news. We talked some coaches. Hey, man, I think it's about time. Bring us on home, dog.
Hey, there it is, man. Hey, there you have it, man. Championship Sunday, man. Who's going to the big dance, man? Who's going to the big dance? Who's punching that big dance ticket? Man, real quick, man, I'll go back over the X factors. For the first game, man, I think we both liked AJ Brown. for a 100-yard day and a touchdown day. And then in the second game, man, I think I had Kelsey having a big day, man. And then my dog Chop, he's got Jamar Chase going off. But other than that, man, let's do real quick with the roll call, man. Who was in this thing, man, rocking out with your boys, man? Man, the home team was in here, man. My moms and my sister, my auntie fell through. Appreciate y'all. Y'all know what's going on. Man, our dog, man, Skinny, real deal STL Sports is heavy in the building today, man. We appreciate the love, bro. Man, our dog Jeff fell through, man. Our Eagles fan, he said he looking for all the smoke today, man. He got his Eagles going, pushing through to the Super Bowl, of course. Man, our dog, Day One Gang Jarrell was in the building too, man. Another Eagles fan. He definitely came through and hollered at his dogs, man. Just talked about it, man. My dog Tom was in the building, man. Appreciate the love, big dog. Man, our dog Josh Nichols came back and slid through. That's my Steelers brethren right there. You know what understand me? So he came in the building as well, man. We got a little money on the wood right now. We'll see what's going on, man. He got those Niners today. Man, Show Me Vision Entertainment was in the building, man. My dog Johnny, little brother in the building, man. We appreciate the support, big dog. Man, I'm looking for you, man. I'm trying to find you. You know what's going on. If I can't find you, damn, I look for. Oh, McBoys 11 was in there because he see the growth. He see what's going on, man. Shout out to you as well, man. Other than that, y'all know what's going on. You can say it with me at home because I know you know what's coming. If I forgot to say your name, come on, man. Charge it to my head, man. Don't charge it to my heart. You know we think about you, big dog. We appreciate all the love support, man. Y'all know what's going on. These games, man, we went a little long today, but it's all good because the game don't come on until 2 o'clock, man. So y'all straight. But, man, 2 o'clock, that first one. What you think, man? Give them to about 5:30, 5:45. Josh, we're going to need them push-ups in the chat, big dog. You got a video of those? Put those
all
in the chat,
25 of them. All 25 of them,
man. 25 of them. We need them in the chat, man. Make sure you tag us in there too so we know when it's up there live, man. But other than that, man, y'all know what's going on, man. We appreciate all the love support. My dog Chop just told y'all Super Bowl Sunday, man. He will be in Dallas, man. He gonna be at my crib, man. We be live in effect, man. In the same building for the first time, man. Going live and doing what we do, man. So hopefully, can't wait to see y'all there, man. Turn up with us, man. We definitely gonna tee up and have a good time, man. And so, other than that, man, we will be back, man. We'll still be back Wednesday. We'll talk about who's going, man. Who made it, who didn't, man. Who performed, who showed up, and who didn't. All that good stuff. Y'all know what's going on, man. Wednesday at 7 o'clock. Y'all know how we get down, man. Other than that, man, y'all have fun. Be safe. Enjoy yourselves. And we will be right back. Peace.
Peace.